The show features adults using adult language and discussing mature topics. You have been warned.
Like an anime opening of something.
Right?
Oh,
Like hired
that'd be nice.
Knights of the Light Table or somebody. Like those guys are really good.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
But it's like $1,000 a minute or something, like for professional tier animation.
Which
like
makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I mean, it doesn't even seem expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're live, aren't we?
We've been live for a while.
Well,
Yeah. Also, I don't know why it just occurred to me, Luke, your hair reminds me so much of like Wolverine from the 90s cartoon right now. I just noticed it and now I just can't unsee it.
Yeah, you have like first X-Men movie Hugh Jackman hair.
I haven't been my
That
Cyberus.
intro is boss.
Yeah, and you got the burns too. Yeah.
Did you
Hi,
ever-
everybody. Welcome to this drunken mashup of vaccine and corruption game.
Who told you I was drinking?
Huh?
Who told you I was drinking already?
We can see you.
This is part 2 of our crossover. So we've got the math. 3/5 of the team is corruption, and 2/5 is from vaccine. And in this quest, God damn. All right, starting over.
it's going to be great.
Hi,
Today-
everybody. We're live. Hey.
Yeah, they're going to Dark Radix. Does anybody want to do a recap of what happened last time? While I remember how to English.
We had 12 people in chat. I didn't make an overlay for it.
Yeah, there was a giant Mexican standoff for like a split second.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was
Aw.
pointing guns at everybody else when the corruption crew walked in the door.
I feel like it was like one person pointing swords at everyone else.
Also,
Yeah.
like I
Corruption
think
crew
Onyx
crashed at Sammy's place.
was about to murder Crypto for being a De-Fragger until like.
No, she was about to murder Crypto for pulling a sword on her.
Okay. Well, so we
I
determined
genuinely
that
do
there
not
was-
think she realized that he was a De-Fragger until he pulled the arms out. And even then, I don't think she would have given a shit, because so is Cyberus, so...
Was
Oh,
she not the fraggers?
Somebody I recall had a very antipathetic feeling towards anybody that would try to destroy corruption.
Crypto says she can try in chat.
I think that's actually what he said to her in character, too. Anyway, yeah, so... let me pull up my notes from last time.
Ghost Ranger Prime is dying from some weird curse thing that he has because he's so old that he can't get healed by magical means anymore because he's been like overhealed so many times.
Yeah,
It just doesn't work on him anymore.
Yost has gotten to the point where, for whatever reason, be it old age or some other weird magical effect, healing magic does not work on him any longer. The only way that he can heal is the long way. After Vaccine Crew returned from the moon, they got a message saying that Yost had stumbled into the professor's office and collapsed and fallen into a coma. He left a recording device for Vina that said not much more other than, I don't know if you'll get this, I don't know if I'll survive. The tyrant is trying to find me. Fuck, I can't remember his name. God damn it. Anyway, told her the name of a henchman to track down who would be able to help her with a plan that you just had. You guys spoke with the professor, and he told you that he was able to modify the device that Vaccine Crew used to go to the virtual world the first time, to allow up to 6 of you to enter into Yost's mind space and talk to him, figure out who this tyrant is, what happened, how to help him. A group of you are going to the moon to try and find some kind of ancient artifact that may be able to help save him. And then, while you guys were sort of all gathered around, you were visited by a strange individual that seemed to change the fabric of reality at his whim, calling himself the One. He told you that Yost was under what was it? His form is imprisoned by a glitch in the code, and that the only way to free him is with the most rare substance in the multiverse, the tears of a Neverborn, freely given. He told you that one of Yost's old labs that's nearby, just outside the city, will have the means of conveying you, of sending you to Dark Radix to obtain this very rare substance. And I'll say, you guys at this point have had your long rest. You've gotten any spell components you might need or anything like that. And have decided with the rest of the team, or with the rest of your respective teams, that you 5 are the ones who will go to Dark Radix, retrieve the tears, and return. So we'll say that morning, you guys all awake. The rest of the teams are pretty much up and getting ready to go on their own various journeys. What do you guys want to do?
Is there any chance we can go magic item shopping right before we go?
What kind of magic item shopping?
I wanted to
What are
get
you
a cape
looking
of.
for?
I wanted to get a cape of Vroom Vroom, the racing stripe cape that makes you go 10 foot faster.
But
It's in the 2.5 rulebook.
What
but
rarity is it?
Uncommon, does not require attunement, but it makes you have to go Vroom Vroom to use it.
Yeah, you actually have to. It's a verbal component.
Yeah. It says you have to make
So
cool race car
goofy.
noises.
It's my favorite cape that he's made.
I will say yes, you can get that.
Cool, it even goes with my outfit. It is white with a red stripe.
That and a cape of bees.
No, thank you. I might have tried the
Um,
Cape of Calm, like, just because it keeps you, like, cool as a cucumber even while you're brutally murdering somebody, just for, like, the creepy effect, but I like this better.
Not Chris of Capes.
Yeah, Chris loves his capes.
And I will say for that one, it was 400 gold.
Done.
The professor tells you that he does have actually he would offer to let Ruby would offer to drive you guys outside of town to the coordinates of where that lab is. For those of you that may not remember, Ruby is the professor's assistant and bodyguard. When you guys first walked into his office, she was sitting in the lobby holding a very large rifle. She is a red-haired Asmar woman with a very slight golden sheen to her skin, and like a short bob cut, red haircut. You guys all pile in and make your way. It's a fair, like, 3-hour drive. It probably would be much longer, but because you guys are, the Ruby and the professor have a decent amount of money to play with, and the professor basically told you that he's willing to help whatever it takes to help you guys get this done. You guys pay the stupid expensive fee to get on the expressway, basically the autobahn, and make your way to the lab. When you pull up, it's honestly you thought for a second you're in the wrong spot, because when you first look around, you're about an hour or so outside of the furthest reaches of Neo-Rademi. And it just looks like open hills until Ruby drives up to like the exact coordinates, and you guys get out and start looking around and realize that you are actually parked on top of what is a sort of underground base. That's the hill is sort of overhanging and hiding a door that's just sort of out of sight from the main road. And I will say that the door is locked, and you don't see any. You do see like a keypad, but you weren't given a code or anything.
Oh, Alora Mahor. Damn it, I misunderstood. One quick question.
Mhm.
Does Demona get to bring her motorcycle along, or does that need to be?
I'll say
left?
Yeah, the van that Ruby brought you guys in is like an SUV. It can easily enough fit in the back, or you can ride alongside.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Is there power to the panel?
There is, yeah.
Okay.
Do I sense any corrupted creatures within 60 feet?
You mean besides me?
Other than your companions, no.
Unexpected creatures, yeah.
No.
What's the door made of?
It is made of steel. It looks like it's pretty hefty duty stuff.
I'm going to look around, like on the ground. Like what's the condition of the ground around here? Is it grassy? Is it packed earth? Is it concrete? Like is it pavement? Is it dust? What's going on here?
There's like a lip of maybe a foot or so of concrete outside of the door. Everything else is that like lush, fresh grass and rolling hills.
Okay.
I've got a pair of thieves' tools that I'm proficient with. Could I try to hack the panel?
Sure. Go ahead and roll for it.
If that doesn't work, we can always just destroy the door.
That was my first instinct, but I don't want to waste a spell slot.
And I prefer not to be destructive until we absolutely need to.
Hang on.
What?
Before you do, I have a thing that I wanted to try out.
Uh-oh.
So do we all. What is it?
So I wanted to try out a thing that I'm calling heroic inspiration. It's sort of inspired by the hero points in Mutants and Masterminds. And it's a way to try and remind me to actually give you guys inspiration more. The way it works is you guys all start with one heroic inspiration point, and then you can use that if you have. You can use it to roll with advantage, and whatever you get, if you roll a 9 or less, you treat it like a 10. So you don't have the thing of like, oh, I wasted my super valuable inspiration point and I rolled a 1. Just so you know you have it if you would like to use it in this instance. And I'll send you guys a document on how that works.
Neat.
What do I need for the thieves' tools? Sleight of hand?
Oh,
or-
it would just be your proficiency bonus plus your dexterity modifier.
All right. Let's see what we get.
We're still on +5, right? Because we're at 13
Believe
now.
so.
Yeah. Okay.
That would
With
be
that-
26.
Ooh.
Nice. So, Demona, you pry the like front panel and keypad off of this thing and tinker around with it for a bit before you find the correct wire to cut, and the door loses power, but you know that you could now probably pry it open relatively easily.
Horosho. Door is unlocked.
It's
Well, that was
closed.
very handy. Here, I'll help you. I'll pull open the door.
Okay. It takes a bit of leverage, but you guys have given enough time and effort. You can definitely pull it off. Ruby sort of, she's like, do you guys want me to wait, or do you have your own way back? I'm pretty sure one of you has, like, magic. I don't know if you know the teleporty stuff.
I do.
I mean, I can jump from point to point, but my range is fairly limited. I couldn't get back to the base from here.
I'll wait for you guys then. And then if you don't need me, then just let me know.
All right.
Well, we're going on a different plane, aren't we?
Well, yeah, but when you get back.
Oh, I can shift us back. It's fine.
I feel like at some point we probably would have taken stock of each other's abilities so we actually know what the others can do. It feels like the kind of thing that you would want to do for a team building exercise. It's like, okay, look, I can.
If I'll say that if you think your characters would have shared that, then you can say that you would have. If your character doesn't think you would have, then
Simon definitely believes in being well informed before entering into any combat situation, especially with people that are expected to be allies. So he would have appreciated any kind of tactical or combat information that would be of value to know.
Gurk would tell you that he's able to shapeshift into corrupted creatures, which are amalgamations of different beasts and whatnot. And that he tends to deal with more earthly magics. So he can meld with stone, not steel, or he would have went straight through the store. And he can make good berries for everybody.
Real quick, Kat.
Mhm.
Would I have been able to get the teleportation coordinates or runes for the tower, the Doctor's and Ruby's tower?
They do not have one. Actually, do they? Actually, I will say that they do, and he would give them to you. But I'll say that Simon and Daiyo, you guys have never heard him mention them before, but that might just be because you don't have anybody that can use them.
That sounds reasonable.
Oh. And Cyberus, right?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, we've known each other a while.
Have we now? I'm joking, of course.
I was gonna say,
Do you want to focus more on healing, or should I focus on healing?
I can heal a little bit.
Okay, well, I have healing magics too for everybody, so.
I do have a little bit of healing too, but I mainly shoot. Like, real good.
she is extraordinarily deadly with that rifle, especially if they move.
Actually, it's a bow. But yeah.
Lots
Oh,
of
you have
If
a
it
bow?
moves, I can kill it. If it breathes, I can kill it. If it doesn't, probably too.
Most things that are dangerous move, except for that one statue. But anyway.
Like most of this party.
You guys make your way into the darkened hallways of this building. There is power in here, but it seems like it's on like reserve power. And there's like along the floor are recessed little round lights about every 10 feet or so, giving dim light all through here.
Would my cycle be able to use headlights?
Yeah, it's not the most comfortable. Like, your cycle would basically take up the entire hallway, so you're basically everybody is walking in front of or behind it, because it is large size.
I thought it was medium-sized vehicle.
The cycle is large size?
The cycle is an Arcanine.
It would have to be large size.
Yeah, it would have to be large
for a
size for you
medium-sized
guys
creature
to
ride it,
ride it, like effectively.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
That's fair.
And I think it doesn't have the stats of like a direwolf, so it's pretty chunky when it's Arcanine style.
Mhm.
Yes, that is true. Okay. So, yeah, it's
There's lights in here, right?
Yeah, it's dim light. It's not like super bright, but you can see. Effectively, those of you that have dark vision, no change. Those of you who do not, you have disadvantage on sight-based checks, but it's not that huge a deal.
Okay. I would like to take point, unless there's any argument. I've got 60 foot of dark vision, and also I've got the Sentinel ability to stop people who try to get past me. So I would like to try and be upfront about this.
I'll go right behind you.
Gurk just shrugs, and he's just wherever he needs to be.
I mean, I'll be in the back.
You go in front of me. I can cover your back while you shoot forward.
Okay, that's fair.
As you
I mean,
guys enter the dark hallway in here, you see that it branches off in two different directions. And in the darkness, both Simon and Daiyo, you see something very quick and very small dart off into the darkness. Maybe about the size of like a house cat or so. But it made sort of like a mechanical sound, like on wheels.
Oh, great. We have Wizmos.
Oh no.
Wait, isn't that a different campaign setting?
Shh.
I'm just kidding.
Um,
We've synergized
okay.
before.
So, taking a moment to note that there was a little scurry of motion on the one side, I would like to investigate the intersection and see if there's any evidence of like heavier traffic going in the other direction, like
How far away?
footsteps or.
How far away was that movement relative to me?
Maybe about like 20 feet or so, and then it took off, and it's probably now like
Okay. With my
40, 50 feet
with
away.
my 30-foot
I can
blind
still see it
sense,
from
did
here.
I sense any
Okay,
other
yeah.
movement in that 30-foot radius from me?
You probably would have caught it like on the perimeter of your radius.
Yeah,
at first.
you did not sense
It's
any
like
other
tremor
movement.
sense, kind of.
I'll say those of you that do have dark vision, you can easily enough see that it is probably it's some kind of like robot.
Tiny size?
It's like about yay tall or so, and sort of like pyramid shaped, but not like four sides, just I don't know what that word is. Prism.
Okay.
Is it corrupted?
It is not, no.
So, looking around, Demona wants to try to investigate the area. Are there cobwebs? Like there's not been anybody here? Are there tracks that?
Oh, there
show
are
some-
definitely cobwebs. Yeah, it looks like this place has not seen any action for quite a while.
Is there any recent or obvious tracks that show that words
Go
that go
ahead.
either way?
Go ahead, and whoever wants to can make perception checks. Would be to like just see your surroundings, see anything that's obviously moving. Investigation if you want to like determine how long has it been since somebody's been here, determine like specific details.
I would like to investigate.
I would like
for
to
it.
investigate as well.
Same as well.
Can
Oh,
I,
sorry. My blind
use my-
sight's 60?
Holy fuck, Nadish.
I forgot that creature had really good blind sight. I
31.
got 19 on perception with the blind sight.
I was going to assist it. I guess I don't need to.
Yeah, Simon
Um,
gets 31 on his investigation.
I got lucky.
Okay.
24 on Demona's.
Gurk, you can sort of looking around, you can see that it looks like it's sort of recessed into a small like nook in the wall, and can see that it seems to be sort of like peeking out. You can also hear, or actually, I'll say because it's perception, you can see a very, very faint amount of light coming from the other hallway. The rest of you, Demona, looking around and checking the floor for tracks and whatnot, you can see that there is a fair amount of traffic in this area, but it's all like straight parallel lines, almost like wheels. Simon, you notice that along one of these hallways is a very, very faint line that runs along the wall, and at first you thought like it was just a panel for where like the electrical sorts of things are and everything, and then you realize that it's not quite that. It doesn't match up with where the rest of where you think the power line should be, based on what you saw when Demona pried the cover of that thing off. It's a very clear line about yay wide or so, that runs parallel, and you can see sort of looking across the hall that it's on the other side as well. And then sort of looking up, you also see another one exactly like it at the top of the hallway as well.
Oh, okay. I would like to investigate one of these seams a little closer, and see if I can tell, like, is it a laser trap? Are there going to be saw blades coming out of these things in a minute? I mean,
I will say
Can
go
I-
ahead.
like, I will like try and manipulate it with my hands a little bit to see, like, if I can pop the panel off or.
Okay,
just-
go ahead and make another investigation check.
Okay.
So long as we don't get the Red Queen treatment.
Well, no, I mean it's okay. It's actually going to be a 28 this time.
Okay. Looking at it, you're fairly certain it's some kind of a trap that is probably triggered by proximity.
Oh, and I'm very proximal.
Yeah, because you rolled well, you're aware, like, but that based on the way that it's sort of framing that hallway, it would undoubtedly trigger sort of when you go through it.
Do I think that, like, based on my examination, does it seem like maybe there might be a way to disable it that's either on this side or the other side of the hallway?
From this section, you don't see anything. There's a chance it probably has a power source, though, based on just the little bit of what you're seeing and what you know of this individual. You know, he tends to depend a little bit more on tech than on magic.
Okay, so this is probably more like a laser trap.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Are the walls or ceiling made of metal? Is everything metal in here?
Yeah, most of it is metal.
Okay, so I am going to like hold up a hand, like advise them to just like stay back. How far down, like lengthwise, is this corridor?
It's about 70 feet or so, and then it looks like it splits again
Okay.
into another T section.
Real
And
quick.
it's down that one of those hallways past where this potential trap is, that Gurk you're seeing that very faint bit of light.
Real quick, does Demona happen to see the wires that would lead towards this particular area, the trap itself? Like you said, the power cables. Does it point specifically to this area?
It doesn't point specifically. You'd probably have to do a little bit more investigating to determine exactly where it is. Either it goes entirely underground, which is probably pretty likely, or it's deliberately going a different route, because Simon did recognize that it wasn't a direct power line from where you guys opened the door.
Based on what I'm seeing, does it seem like maybe with like a sufficient amount of like acrobatics that one could probably avoid this trap, or does it seem like something that's going to fill the whole hall?
Not unless you were very, very small. The gap between both the line where the ceiling is and where the floor is only about 6 inches tall or so at most.
Do we know what the trigger is?
Say that again?
Do we know what the trigger for the trap is?
Other than going through it, you're guessing. You're not sure what would disable it quite.
All right. I have an idea. Sit tight just a second. He's going to basically like set a runner stance and power up his cape of zooming.
Okay. God,
Bonus
this is goofy.
Bonus action to dash down the hallway, and at the end of his dash, I would like to do a teleport to warp to the end of the hall, to the intersection.
Okay. So you're like backing up and then running down the hallway?
Well, not backing up,
the,
just like I'm setting myself at the beginning of the trapped area.
Okay. As soon as you go to dash and go past that, like, where those lines start, you guys all see a flash of light, and Simon, you are sort of yanked to a stop as this grid of flickering blue electricity just stops Simon in his tracks.
Is it painful or just like a force web?
It's uncomfortable. It's not causing you damage at the moment. It's
Does it-
definitely like just like the battery sort of thing. Very uncomfortable.
Does it interfere with my ability to warp out of it?
It does.
Ooh, well that's not fun.
And you see at the other end of the hallway a similar field like that forms into a sort of like pyramid-shaped face, almost like that of a Modron, that speaks and says, "State your purpose."
We've come to gain access to the dimensional portal to Dark Radix. We have business there in order to save the world.
Why will entering corruption save the world?
To prevent more corruption from entering this one.
My protocols forbid entry to any but my master.
This is Yoast base, right? Like out of character?
You guys
Yeah.
were told this.
Right, okay.
The one told you, yeah.
I'm just recapping, like making sure I was remembering
Yes.
this. So, yeah, Simon will be responding. Your master is currently laying on my boss's table almost near death. We're sent here to try and salvage his life. We require tears of the Neverborn to break a curse of corruption on him.
Daiyo, you spot Simon. I'll say you hear it because you're stupid high passive perception, but you can't turn your head. You're actually like paralyzed. You can't move at all. Daiyo, that prism-shaped little robot thing sort of wheels a little further down the hall, watching you guys. So, and the grid face says, "Ranger Prime is dying."
Ranger Prime, by all appearances, has been dying for a while, but has just gotten so far gone that he's now not able to wake up anymore. He's in a bad way, and healing magics have no effect on him. If your directive is to preserve Ranger Prime, then you should let us pass.
Yeah, we're basically your only option here.
Very well. Though if we decide, it is determined that you are traitors, I will have no choice but to electrocute you to the death. Just to be perfectly transparent.
That's
Sounds
fair.
fair.
That's fair.
The little Modron thing sort of nods. And Daiyo, you see the one behind you do a strange little nod motion as well. And the field drops, and Simon, you just sort of collapse, considering you were a couple of inches off the ground.
Stylish falling! Woo!
It's not... You definitely are feeling a little numb in, like, the tips of the ears and fingertips. But you did not take any damage. Both of those electricity grids fall. And that little prism-shaped Modron, now you realize, wheels up closer to you guys. And you see now that on the face that's sort of tilted closest towards you is a very small miniature Modron face with metal lips and eyes.
Do love me some Modrons. Hello.
Hello.
So, which one are you?
I am 8753.
Well, 8753, I'm Simon. It's nice to meet you. Listen, which way to the portal room?
The eyes sort of narrow, and it sort of looks at all of you. Why has Ranger Prime sent no Henshin?
The Henshin have another assignment. There's
Yeah.
business afoot on the moon. I assume you're familiar with Yosefina? Project V, you may have heard of it.
The little Modron actually, like, the eyes widen and it wheels back a second. Yosefina lives?
Oh, yes. She's quite hale and hearty and very angry about everything.
Yosefina is awake?
Oh, yes.
Then come, yes, we must help.
Oh, well.
And it takes off like a shot, which is not very fast considering it's tiny sized. It's like going 20 feet around.
Simon's going to look back over his shoulder at the rest of the party. It really is all in who you know.
I'd guess. These things are weird.
Who's Josefina?
Oh, the giant purple lady with the horn and the four eyes. You may have met her back at the base.
Is that one of those people that's like three people?
Not anymore.
Okay.
But yeah.
She was two people with the butterfly girl with the big sunny motif.
Ah,
But I think they're back in their own heads now. It's all very
Yeah.
complicated.
okay.
We should
You
follow.
guys,
I think.
you guys sort of travel down that hallway and see a couple of doors that are partially open. It looks like one looks into like a sort of very sparse living quarters. It's pretty bare. It's basically just a cot and a desk and a chair and some sheets. Another one is a lab that looks like it hasn't been used in ages. In the corner of that lab, you see, like, at first you thought was one of those children's playset sorts of things. But on second glance, you realize that, or like a children's kitchen playset, it is more like a children's laboratory playset.
Charming.
But the Modron sort of just zips past that and further towards where that light is coming, Gurk, and he turns a corner. Do you guys follow?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys turn the corner and that light gets much brighter. It's now, as soon as you turn the corner, it actually goes, you see what's giving off that light. It is a very large round disc, maybe about 15 feet at the highest and widest points. That is made of dark purple energy, giving off a faint bit of light, and the border of this portal is different limbs. Like, one is a deer leg, another is what looks like a human arm, another seems to be like the like front claws and arm of some reptilian creature. Another one is very clearly a hairy human leg, and it's sort of floating about an inch or so off the ground.
Huh. Is the cost of admission happen to be an arm and a leg?
The Modron actually gives out a very weird mechanical sounding laugh. No, it's a Carlian gate. It it will send you to Dark Radix.
Good.
It's two-way, so you can come back through it.
I did not have an extra arm to spare.
Well, somebody's arm anyway. So
That's
about
a-
the getting back part, do we just need to relocate wherever this thing ends up at in
Yes,
Dark
the
Radix?
gate, the gate should be visible on both sides.
Very good. What
It
means do you
is-
have of ensuring things don't come through here that don't, or that shouldn't?
Well, there are many guardians, and that's what the gate is for. You guys now realize that on this side of the hallway that you guys walk through, there's significantly less dust and dirt and grit on the floor.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I noticed that earlier. It's creeping Crook out. It's too clean.
As if perhaps some things did not survive that laser grid.
Ooh.
It sort of like looks around and says, "Oh yes." And little like tiny little arms fold out and goes, "You will need containment suits. Yes. Many of you will not survive. True. This way." And he sort of like zips off to another side of the room, and it just sort of looks like he just boops into the wall, and then you realize that he has hit like what looks like a little pyramid-shaped panel, and a section of that sheeting on the metal wall pulls out, and inside hang several dark leather suits of all manner of sizes and shapes.
My goodness.
Do they have
There are
X's on
some
them?
that are...
Do they have X's on them?
No, they don't.
Like a circle with an X in it?
So it basically looks like my own gear that I'm already wearing.
A little different. It's very like the material is made up of the strange what's the word? Not perfectly even shapes, geometric shapes that are all sort of stitched together.
Asymmetrical.
That's
So
the
it's
word.
like-
Organic shapes.
Kind of patchwork almost.
Yeah, almost patchwork, but it's all made from the same material. It's this like very stretchy material that feels somewhere between like pleather and the scales of a reptile.
Neat. Okay, so it's void beast leather basically.
Kind of. It even has like a little bit of a silver sheen to it when you turn in the light.
What is?
Well, this is just. Can I keep this after we're done? Like, I
Yes,
don't.
there are many suits in there. It may degrade though. They don't tend to last very long. They typically only last about 24 hours.
What would happen if we didn't wear the suit?
Oh, you would most surely die.
From what?
From what?
Corruption.
That'd be a first.
I hand Simon my really weird warped staff that's always emanating rainbow smoke from the end of it, and I walk through the portal.
The Modron subs, you will die. Please do not do that.
Won't be the 1st time.
Okay.
I mean, I get it. I hit close too, but
Gurk, you
I
do
don't
know
think
you
that's-
can die from corruption.
Yes, and I'm resistant to it as well.
Okay.
Being a void.
Okay. You're. I
I'm
mean,
only going to be out there for a turn.
well, the DM says, "Are you sure?" The answer is always no.
So
I'll go ahead and squeeze into one of those patchwork suits and finish off the look with reassuming my plague doctor look, except the robes are now just that crazy patchwork leathered suit. That's gonna be fun. Ooh.
I'm gonna put on a suit and I'm gonna grab one that will fit Grut.
okay, there are plenty that are like probably suited. God damn it! I just forgot he's not a trog. I'll say like instinctively you go for the trog sized one that's probably suited for halflings, and you're like, wait, nope, he's tall as fuck now.
Give me just a moment. Zoom's not responding for some reason. Like, I can hear you guys. That's it. So,
30-20 on my new
Nice.
athletics check.
So-
Or over top of them if you would like.
Oh no.
Yeah. I will say
Oh wait,
Simon.
we lost Scotty.
Oh shit. Whoops.
cool.
I see him.
I don't see him. I have no
Yeah.
video.
He froze, so he's probably gonna drop in a second.
I see him moving just fine.
Yeah,
Really?
moving around like an NPC.
I'm not moving. On my end.
Rip.
Oh yeah, Twitch isn't.
Yeah, Twitch is not moving, but the audio is different. Like, the stream is fine. It's the Zoom call itself.
Oh great.
Oh.
So can they hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So I will say.
I might drop, though.
Okay. Simon, you remember that you were told by Yost that if you guys were to ever go to Del Diablo, that the corruption would be too great and you must take those rings you're wearing off.
Yeah, I did actually leave the ring at the office when we left.
Okay.
So I've already taken mine off.
So just so it's noted, and it's not any type of comedic relief, Demona will slice off the free arm so it's not just flapping in the wind, and
Okay.
then use mending on the cloth to seal up the tear.
So do we think that the ambient corruption is going to be constantly giving us corruption? Is that what they said?
Potentially, that's what it seems, yeah. Or at least what the Modron was implying. If you ask him that, he says, yes, every moment there is... Where you are going is made of corruption. The air...
Okay, folks. I'm gonna be right back.
I was gonna
What
say,
the
is this
fuck?
music? Is...
We have two Scots.
yeah.
Oh, we do.
Holy-
Cool.
So Gruck
Scott.
and Gruck. Okay.
Great Scott.
Well, they should fix themselves once the
Yeah.
first one goes.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
double
crazy.
Scotty.
So, yeah, Metroid Prime. There's this radioactive bullshit called Phazon that's like bright blue, and if you touch it, you slowly burn to death. And this music honestly sounds a lot like the Phazon Mines
There we
level.
go.
So, like, I kind of
Nice.
thought that's where you were going with this. So it was unintentional, but awesome.
Whoops, that's the wrong
Sorry,
thing.
sorry about that. You guys can continue.
Because I thought because the third game is Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, and you actually start leveraging the shit in the game. So that's why I thought you knew about it. Because like this whole time.
Gurk,
Hmm.
when you go in, you find yourself standing.
I would do
in-
arm first. Probably won't do anything until I go full body, though, right?
It doesn't seem to, no.
Okay, then I walk in.
You find yourself standing in what looks like at first a forest. The ground is this hard-packed sort of almost clay, but it's deep purple. And looking behind you, instead of the weird like gate made of animal parts, it is a tree that seems to have grown together and then up into a sort of bowl, and above it is this just absolutely massive, probably like 5-6 foot wide crystal in the shape of almost like a rose or a flower that is like a pinkish color. And I need you to make a corruption saving throw, please.
Okay. Do I have advantage because I'm a void, right?
Does it normally give you advantage?
I think he has it set up so it's just I have psychic resistance.
Then no. If you don't have advantage from the rules, then you wouldn't.
Okay, 8.
Okay.
Sorry, 7.
You feel that familiar feeling that you felt in the past of your code just shifted a little. You have another layer.
Okay.
But you're not entirely sure what it does yet. What do you do? Looking around, you can see that there are in the distance there are hundreds more of these sort of archways with the big rose crystal above them, but none of them have portals. They're just empty like archways.
Okay. How many layers? Do you have a limit on yours? Because I know you're doing it a little differently. According to the PDF, it's 7 layers.
Yes. So, okay. So, while you guys are in Del Diablo, you cannot die from having too many layers of corruption. Outside those wards, you will die if you ever have more than 7, unless you have a way. I think Crypto can, or Cyberus can get up to 8, I think, and I think maybe you can as well. If you're outside those wards, which you are now, and you gain 8, you instantly die. And you would know, being a individual that can bring people back from the dead, if you die from corruption, you cannot come back. You don't have the choice.
All right. I just checked. It's on the 7th layer. You just insta vaporize.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk back through.
Okay. Cyberus, I would say it makes sense that you have your vision up. It doesn't tell you when he's gained more, though, because the vision actually doesn't tell you how many layers somebody has.
No. He has it. So I might
but
not
you
notice.
can. I will say, you can sense it radiating off of him. It almost looks like looking at him with it. The way that I picture the what you're seeing is sort of like an infrared. It looks like it is pouring off of him and pooling all around him. It's the strangest thing you've ever seen. The only thing akin to it is the handful of time, like the first time you walked into Del Diablo, and it was like that negative image of everything was corrupted.
I signal to Simon this to throw back the staff.
I will go ahead and throw him the staff.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it. Okay. And I go over and grab one of the suits.
I hand you the one I grabbed for you.
Oh, thank you.
I think you'll need it. It seems loud in there.
It's a little loud.
Feel all right?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You measure corruption in decibels?
No, not all the time.
Sometimes.
Also, because
Nothing fun from that one I just got though, Cyberus. Sorry.
Oh,
another thing that we're doing, because like I said, I'm introducing some new rules in this. For heroic inspiration, this seems like a very fitting thing that is perfectly in character for Gurk and required balls of steel from the DM asking, "Are you sure?" twice. You gain another heroic inspiration. The rule is though, you want to use them because at the end of the session, all but one of them go away.
Okay. Greg puts on the suit. Obviously, he looks like he's like a toddler putting on clothes because he never puts on clothes ever. He's never really put on clothes ever. Now I think about it.
You have worn like 3 outfits total.
I've worn a loincloth as a trog and pants, and that's it.
And no, there was the suit in that like really poorly fitted suit when you guys went out
yeah.
with
I guess I did wear some. Okay.
Oh.
we went to that desert city.
Cordelia.
Yeah, no, when we were
In the desert, I think in
No, this was when we
Luxor
were
Prime.
Luxor Prime, yeah.
He still wore like his normal.
I had like a 1920s like little bow tie and everything.
Aw.
But that was when I was a cute little frog guy.
Daiyo,
cute?
I did mention to Simon that he remembered, and you would as well, because Daiyo's pretty clever. That when you guys met Yost, he had mentioned to you guys that you he wanted you guys to not ask too many questions about where you got those rings, but also that if you were to ever go to Del Diablo, to make sure you're not wearing them. And would stand to reason you don't want to wear them here as well.
Oh, I do know as a corruption druid what my layer of corruption did.
Oh, you do? Okay, then you know.
That's specifically corruption druid though, not the rye.
So applying my intellect to the problem, do I think that those rings would have exploded or just like killed us and failed?
That's what Yost told you they would do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely leaving that at home. Like I had a momentary thought maybe I could use it like a grenade, but if there's no way to really inhibit it from doing what it do, then it's not really useful as a weapon.
You guys step through the portal, and I'm actually gonna share you an image in the Discord of what you guys see of what my inspiration for this area is. It's just gonna be in the generic Retroverse chat.
What?
Fuck you, Kevin.
What?
Steve Carell!
Sorry, guys. Kevin just put into the Discord. Oh, cool. PS4 has some cool games to download. I should download, and then just smiley devil face.
Is he trying to ruin your bandwidth?
Maybe.
Oh.
Joking. But yeah, stepping through, you guys see that endless field of thorny 3-gate archways with rose very large rose-colored gems above them.
You definitely need to play Metroid Prime. You absolutely have to. You would love it. Yes. Okay. That's fun.
I'm curious.
Mhm.
I don't
I'm
think
also
you can
curious.
answer this. But would I know if I wild shape, would I not get that protection anymore from those clothes?
Your clothes meld into you, so you would keep it.
Okay.
Eh? Doesn't melding normally like deactivate magical properties?
No. If it requires an action to use it, you can't activate it because you can't like manipulate it.
So,
But
like,
so
if
like
you had
rings and
+1
capes of protection would still work when you wild shape?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Cloaks of protection would. I would rule that like +1 armor wouldn't, because you're not wearing armor anymore.
But that's the whole point. You're not wearing the suit either. It gets absorbed into you.
The other thing is these are meant to make sure that you don't insta-die.
Okay.
I
suppose it could be
you
wild
can
shape resistant.
tell easily enough. These things are probably pretty heavily magical. As you guys sort of step through and get a bearing of your surroundings, what do you want to do?
Do we have any idea where we're going?
Not really.
We
We're
can
looking
look
for
for
an-
track.
Do we have a decent modes of travel?
I could probably scout the area with my bike.
I don't suppose Sims
I'll
did.
say, Demona, go ahead and roll a Arcana check for me.
I can certainly do that. How's 30 sound?
Nice. It would make sense that while hearing everything that was going on and all these things, you did take the opportunity to do some research in the professor's library. And you do know that from the handful of things he has gathered from his studies into what Dark Radix is like, and from the reports from the handful of vaccine crew that have been through, technology doesn't seem to operate very well on the other side. So you're not sure how useful it would be.
Okay, if that's the case, then I'll just send the bike back. There's no point in having it in here if it's not going to at least function regularly.
Demona understands enough of the cosmology. So like where Radix is, there's the grid, which in like normal D&D would be like heaven, hell, the astral plane. Corruption is entirely another universe. The rules of magic don't work the same on this side. The rules of physics and reality don't work the same. So technology is oftentimes unreliable.
Is there anything in the sky?
Looking up, you do see these sort of wispy clouds that at first look like clouds, and then looking again, they almost look like galaxies sort of swirling. It's definitely nothing like back home.
What sort of useful background information would Simon have recalled from his time as a researcher? I can make intelligence with proficiency, I suppose.
Regarding what kind of information?
Well, like what we could expect to find when we got here, things to watch out for, things, tips and tricks to survive in this environment. You say physics don't even work the same here, so like, should we try not to step in water here? Will we, explode? Those kinds of things.
So you know that everything that you find here is going to behave differently than it would normally.
Right.
Does anyone
Is
have?
it raining or something, buddy?
Does anyone have a spear or anything, like a bow or anything like that?
Daiyo has a bow.
I do have a bow.
One that I could borrow? Maybe?
If you're not gonna break it.
I don't plan to.
Would my De-Fragger training tell me anything about like what we should look for first?
So
Gurk wild shapes, and his upper half stays normal Gurk, but his lower half turns into a horse, and it gets vulture wings, as I wild shape into a scimitar and a vulture.
Holy fuck.
Now I have a fly of 50 and a movement of 50, and I can have somebody on my back.
that's fucking ridiculous.
I gallop over to Daiyo and I say, "Right me."
I think I will.
Please,
I say out loud.
please tell me that my AEN glasses are still functioning in this environment and I can take a picture of this.
No, unfortunately. Wait, no, maybe.
They're magical items, not technology.
Can I use one of my points for Simon?
They're sort of magitech. I will say You can use an inspiration point, an inspiration point to take a picture. It's probably not going to be able to record, and you're not sure how long they're going to function, but you have at least one still picture of this nonsense.
I
I do
definitely
have
at
long
least want
flowing
to.
hair.
I definitely at least want to capture. Yeah, no, I do. I want to see like. So in my head, I'm seeing like big, like muscular chestnut, like flanks, big flat, like black ass vulture wings. But you look like a weird, trashy ass version of like Mrs. Whatsit from A Wrinkle in Time. Remember when she took? Have you ever read that book? She transforms into a creature like this. It's basically a centaur with wings for arms, but it's like ethereally beautiful. But you're also like a void rise, so you're kind of spooky.
Ethereally weird.
Yeah, basically you're just like a creepy gray alien with long, sexy hair.
I'm like
So-
a British. I'm like a British punk rock star.
Yeah, and with Daiyo like riding side saddle on your back, you're like a weird mashup of like a fantasy romance novel and also like a waking nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they basically like sexy shape of water girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Lluis, be glad that he's at least something that looks at least a little bit majestic. When it was a corruption crew, he turned into a dire corgi.
Hey, to be
That's
fair,
majestic.
I would have taken the dire corgi.
Daiyo loves them bolter wings.
I could have turned into what did I name you? That which lurks below. You guys have gotten to witness it once.
Oh fuck no. So, Lluis, are we gonna see this artwork later?
I might draw this. This is a nice image.
I wish I had the time, but right now it's
I know
impossible.
you're buried. We should just like do
Yeah.
an art jam and just like get up on whatever that white space app is.
I don't know. I
Draw
don't.
this.
Sorry, my
Dem-
dog's freaking out. I don't know why.
Demona is just like, right, bring back the legend. And Gurk's like,
Slaps her on the ass. Slaps him on the ass on the way out.
Metal Gear Solid 5 reference, but
Cyberus, your De-Fragger training basically taught you that the ways of corruption are sort of antithetical to that of vaccine. What corruption is reality made in a way that doesn't have form. So that's why when corruption flows through the eye and comes to your world, that it looks all jumbled and weird, because it's taking on form when it's never done so before. So it would stand to reason the shit you see here is gonna be fucking weird. Perhaps weirder than Gurk, or at least everything looks like Gurk does.
I take off, and me and Daiyo, I guess we'll look around.
Yeah, I'll try to check out for any sign of life, I guess, like tracks of some kind or anything.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay. Do I want to use this?
22.
Oh, let me. Also 22. What the heck?
Wow.
I rolled pretty low though.
So,
I rolled really high.
as you guys are sort of galloping around, you do see all manner of strange tracks. Daiyo, it's really weird for you and a little frustrating. Normally, just seeing tracks, you can tell, like, okay, it was like 5 humanoids of this size, 6 horses, what have you. You have no idea what the fuck you're looking at. Half of these things don't look like feet. It's just like dots, like just like circles in the ground. A lot of times there's no discernible pattern. You do come upon one, though, that, like, the only thing that it reminds you of is, like, those super, those, like, sand garden things that some people have on their desks of, like, really pretentious wealthy people that have hired you for various jobs in the past. Like, fingers in the sand. And then beside it is another one that just seems to be like a long line of something rolling through this as you guys are traveling, the hard-packed clay has gone to more of like a sort of magenta sand.
I have proficiency in survival,
Mhm.
and I'm a corruption druid. Do I think I could follow these tracks?
I'll say yeah. You guys easily enough sort of follow them.
Do I have that as
to
well?
No, I was gonna say I have like a +12 in survival if I can help you to roll with advantage or something.
You should roll.
I'll say just +12. You can follow them easily enough. You can tell that whatever this creature is, it doesn't seem to be moving very fast, and it's probably very small. And you track it to one of these archways, and you're like, oh, it went through. And then you look up, and sort of perched in these weird branches of this strange tree, sort of that nest-like part holding that gem, is a hand, like a human-shaped hand that seems to be severed at the wrist, that has a set of eyes at the top of where the wrist joint would be.
Nope.
And how large is this creature?
It is the size of a hand. And then on either side of the eyes are 3 more fingers. And I'm gonna share what it looks like in the chat.
Is it the Ash's hand?
This is the ash hand.
It is not
Interesting.
the ash hand.
No?
Oh, it's not. Okay.
I'm surprised.
It's Master.
It's weird. It's weird. It's fucking weird. And then next to...
Why does it have like a knuckle vagina?
No.
Wait, did you post it?
No.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh,
I'm
it's,
sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a Kevin drawing. That's why. You know what? I'm sorry,
I
Kevin.
didn't think about what I
but
just asked. The question just kind of fell out of my mouth, so I apologize.
I would say I'm sorry, Kevin, but I'm not because I'm posting this on stream. So
And sort of awkwardly nested in this little bowl shape where that gem is what, as close as you can tell, is what appears to be a humanoid thigh. Like, dark-skinned, and on the side of it is a mouth. Like, a human mouth. The hand sort of, like, is perched on one of the branches, just sort of, like, leaning over and looking at you. It's like, are you friends?
Does it actually ask this?
It does. It seems like it's talking telepathically, considering it does not have a mouth.
I talk back telepathically. Yes, my child.
Yeah, I'm gonna let the corrupted druid take on this hot
I fly over to it. I'm not sure how comfortable Daiyo is, but I don't care.
Like, not very. I will hold tight to the horse part, I guess.
It sort of like looks over at the rest of you guys in the distance, looks over at Daiyo, looks at Gurk. You guys know somebody named Passion?
Offer a hand.
You've all... It jumps into your hand.
I
all
hold
you
it while we're
vaccine
just flying
guys
there.
know each other, right?
Don't do that.
The hand sort of like
Yes,
it
but
actually like hovers a slight bit, and gestures behind it and says, can you get my cousin Simon? He's kind of stuck."
Oh, sure. Daiyo, hold this.
Demona is pinching the bridge of her nose right now.
Oh God! You missed. Like I fell out. Like
I heard like a squeak. I wasn't
heard
sure if that
Simon.
was
I
you.
almost hit my head on the wall.
I hand over hand drew to Daiyo.
Okay.
He just rests in your hand.
So
I'm handy.
nice to meet you. I have wet fingers, so you can like make yourself comfortable, I guess.
Mhm.
Not too comfortable. I don't know.
Turns into half a bra.
It sort of just curls into like a loose fist and rests.
Oh.
It sort of looks around.
I like to think.
What are you guys doing?
I like to
out
think when it's
here?
waiting, it just does this.
Mhm.
I think that's your cue there, Gurk. And that's what we're doing here.
We are in search of a tear. A very rare tear.
I mean, it's been a while since I cried, but I might be able to pull it off. I'm
Well,
kind of
it
dry. I could use some eye drops, but they don't really manufacture them here, so.
We were told the creature's name. I can't remember on top of my head.
It's a
Neverborn.
Neverborn.
Are you are? I doubt that you are a Neverborn.
Oh no! I am very honored that you think I'm a Neverborn. No, I was born. I don't remember where I was born, but I was born somewhere, I guess. I don't know. I don't really remember.
It's weird how life works.
It's been
that
a
way.
while since I got separated from the rest of me, and I mean, I call Simon my cousin, but like you can kind of look at us and tell we're probably not related. Handy has like Caucasian skin, and Simon is very dark skinned. We just kind of landed here, and we're like, "Hey, us."
Is he like just a thigh?
Yeah.
I grab the thigh and I
It's
fly
like,
back down.
Well, I'm glad I got the hand.
And I put the thigh under my arm and I fly back down to everybody. Cyberus, look what I found. Don't eat it.
I can't eat it. I'm wearing a mask.
Oh, that's true. His name is Simon. I hand him the Cerberus.
I love it.
Mouth opens. Hi, I'm Simon.
Oh god. It's like Terry Crews with the abs. They're like, "Eh."
My word.
Where does Simon have the mouth?
I have the
like
mouth
in
in
the
the
middle
usual
of the
place,
thigh.
thank you very much.
I think he meant Handy, not Simon.
No, I think he
No.
meant Simon, not Simon.
I meant Simon.
Would either of you know where we could find a Neverborn? Or where to look?
Preferably one with an agreeable disposition.
Despite my looks, I am quite new to this plane.
Could you
I mean,
could you
they're
at
pretty
least
cool.
point us in the right direction?
I mean, the hand can point us.
the hand's sort of like, Simon, when was the last one we saw?
When he goes
We saw?
when he goes to scratch his hand, does he just scratch his palm with one finger?
Yeah. Simon, what was the last one we saw? Simon goes, we saw Ka a couple days ago. That was pretty cool. Had
Ka?
pizza. Yeah, Walking
Or-
Corruption.
Or caca.
Kind of. Typically looks a lot like you guys, at least when he sees the, like, people-shaped ones. For us, he kind of changes, like, whatever he feels like, but it's kind of hard to miss a Neverborn, like, you can usually tell.
How? I've never encountered one before, so I'm not really sure what I'm looking for.
You know, it's a little weird, because, like, you guys aren't native, really, at least not yet, so it's kind of just a feeling you get, and also just, like, you can usually tell by context. Like, size alone, typically. A lot of them are pretty fucking big. Ka tends to scale down a little bit to be, like, whoever he's talking to, but
Polite.
yeah, he's cool. I like him. He's a corruption. He's a exemplar of the people, sort of.
Do you know him well?
I mean, I've met him a couple of times.
Do you know any place where they might be frequented or likely to be found?
Let's see. Last time we saw the Forge was... Oof, that was a long time ago. I don't remember how long. Time's weird here. Though,
Where's
I do think the... I think the judge was in the red salt flats. Yeah, Simon's like, yeah, out there, doing her thing, judging.
And in what direction?
Direction's kind of weird. You kind of just wander and
Helix
with an
West?
intent.
helix west direction. I'm just
That's not
imagining.
really a thing.
I'm just imagining like if there was a compass for this plane, the compass is pretty much just a Dali painting.
Yeah, it goes.
Basically.
It's pointing south west.
Yes.
He says it's a lot more along the lines of typically like if you're looking for a Neverborn, that kind of find you. But we can head in the direction of the Salt Flats.
Would you wish to join us on this adventure?
Heck yeah! Do you know how long it takes to travel when you're our size?
Fair enough.
Simon rolls everywhere.
Well, I mean, at least without help,
How
you can get a
long
leg
it
up.
does- How much it can take to travel if time is weird and like
I mean, we
nothing?
still
That's
like
not-
to eat.
Best not to think about it, really.
Hey, Jesse,
Mm-hmm.
what's your AC for that joke?
I mean, are you actually swinging on him?
No.
It's
Out of
20.
character, yes.
Okay, well, in character, it's 20. So
Oh,
Oh, Daiyo, you can get down if you want. You seem kind of fidgety back there.
I don't know. I don't want to touch the ground now.
Okay. Well, Handy and Thyman, you can ride with us if you want.
I'm just
Yeah.
imagining Daiyo is just like the entire floor is lava, the everything is lava, and I don't want to touch anything.
Basically,
hate it.
yeah. I kind of want to shoot everything. It just don't have that many arrows.
You do also see, as you guys, Handy points in a direction, you guys start traveling. Both Daiyo and Simon, you recognize sort of glancing around, getting an appraisal of your surroundings. One part of one of the trees that you passed, you had thought it was like dead, like leaves or almost like the long willow branches.
Mhm.
Starts to float after you. And it seems almost like a very long scarf, just sort of floating on the wind, following you guys.
Yikes! Do I recognize this creature from my time in research? This entity.
So, like, there's not a lot known about the other side of corruption.
Oh.
I fly over to it.
99.9% of people that come here don't come back. You
Hmm.
guys are kind of the fluke. Simon and Daiyo, you would remember from the last time you guys sort of fell through one of these things. What you just went, what you normally would go through, what corruption normally comes out of, is what's called a fray. They're like probably 90% of the time they are one way. They're from corruption to vaccine. About 9.9% of the time they are the reverse, vaccine to corruption. 0.1% of the time they are two ways, and there are basically two that you guys have ever heard of: the eye above Del Diablo and the one you guys just walked through. That's it.
I fly over to investigate the scarf. Does it start coming
Okay,
towards me?
so can I ask Candy if that's a friend?
Not a friend. Not a friend. Sometimes a friend to certain people, but you never know, and sometimes it just tries to, eat you.
I try.
Gurk,
I try to
don't-
flow back in the same motions.
Don't. Let's get away from that thing. Candy is not comfortable,
Yes.
and
So
we don't want to make Candy upset. Okay.
Can I try communicating with the scarf? Gurk is like a desert druid that's finally gotten to a desert, so he can use his stuff. So he's just happy to be here.
It starts like sort of flowing back and forth in the way that you're flowing. You can see that it does have some semblance of like a sense of space and awareness enough to mimic you. It can't communicate though, really.
I attempt these same kind of motions, but I also try to motion away because I know I'm not the only one here at the moment. I kind of drag some people with me.
Go ahead and just make a charisma check.
Okay. I was going to say this is similar to being like around a snake where snakes, as long as you aren't being very aggressive and you're not doing very stiff movements, usually snakes don't mind you too much. Unless you, like, went into their home or something. Cool.
I want to go ahead and... I'm sorry, go ahead, Scott.
I go, booga booga booga. I got 4.
Fuck.
I want to go ahead and cast Mage Armor, just so I've got it up.
That's probably wise.
Yeah.
It turns into age armor, because it's corrupted.
It makes you look old.
It makes you so you don't age.
It makes you look experienced.
What it actually looks like is very, very old style armor.
Like Dark Souls armor?
Not like heavy armor, like leather armor, but of like very rough, like almost of hides and everything. Demona, you've never seen this. Your mage armor is typically like invisible and shows up maybe as a brief bit of light when you're hit by something. It almost looks like an illusion of spectral armor over top of her. Gurk, how's a 23 to hit you?
Oh, a 23 would hit me.
Yeah. You take 10 bludgeoning damage and 21 acid damage as this scarf-like thing just wraps around one of your limbs and starts dissolving the flesh off of your arm.
Okay, all right.
You realize now it might be hungry.
Can I take an action?
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, can we roll initiative? We should probably just roll initiative, right?
Yeah.
Of course I roll high for that. Oh, and 26.
Jesus Christ.
I got the feet.
Daiyo?
18.
Nice.
17.
Cyberus?
I got a 6.
Demona?
16.
Okay, so Gurk, you get your reaction first. What do you want to do?
The first thing that happens is I act almost like a shifter, and all the more animalistic parts of my body seem to turn more primal. The fur on the horse parts is more coarse and longer than normal. The ears somehow get even pointier, which I don't think is possible to rye.
Challenge Lluis, challenge.
Nails turn into claws. The hooves become bigger than normal. The wings are more frayed. As I cast Guardian of Nature as a bonus action.
Nice.
Woof.
And I gain like sideburns and stuff, I guess. I also have that weird oily sheen.
Well, this got sexy.
You just like flex and
Oh yeah, and I would chest hair.
You look like the one character from the Furry Force, like the combination one. It's like 8 different animals at once.
Yeah, I guess so.
God.
Yeah, I'm faster now.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's burning away at me, and I burn away back at it by using my action to claw at it.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find Primal Savagery. Cantrip.
It's acid, right?
Yes, it is. Okay, there it is. All right. 15 to hit.
It's.
Oh, thank goodness. All right.
It does not have armor. It's a scarf.
The claws. My claws seem to be dripping acid, but you also see like almost like an invisible extra bit on top of that because Guardians of Nature does an extra bit of force damage on top.
Okay. Separate the acid and the force for me.
All right. I'll do the 1 force damage.
Okay.
And 12 acid, which I'm sure it takes none of.
It does seem to do some. It does seem resistant.
Okay.
Daiyo.
And
Unless Gurk, anything else you want to
and
do?
I will not do anything because I'm grappled right now, right?
You're not grappled. I mean,
So mechanically, it's just an attack, just like.
Yeah.
Okay. I would provoke, but I would try to fly away 50.
Actually, I fibbed. Go ahead and roll as you try to pull away from it. Roll. It's an escape DC, so either dexterity or strength saving throw.
Okay.
Wait, no, that would be athletics or acrobatics.
Okay. Thank goodness I made this form, which is proficient at athletics. Oh, thank goodness. 23.
You managed to pull away from it.
All right, and then I fly 50 feet away.
Okay. Yes.
And maybe elevated a little bit, but 50 feet away regardless.
Daiyo, were you still on the back of
Gorkatar?
Centaur?
Or winged Gorkatar.
Primal Grakatar.
Sexy Grakatar.
Vultusaur?
Very sexy. I will.
We'll just call him the hot mess.
There
The
we go,
hot
yep.
mess.
I like that one.
Man, Jess, you got like all the titles today. Man.
I tell you, man, I'm really good at with like snappy names and things. It's like it's a gift.
Okay, so just to picture the whole thing, where's Simon?
Connected to
Probably.
the
Somebody
bone.
had. I think somebody was holding
You
him
might-
under their arm.
I think I gave him to Cyberus, but I don't think Cyberus ever actually took Thyman.
I'll be holding it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I will shoot at this scarf thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever played Journey, but that's what I'm thinking of with this thing.
It's
Oh,
basically that,
that game
except
so
much
pretty.
more angry.
Yeah. I will, since I cannot like operate my bow and hold Handy at the same time, I will ask Handy to grab the string of the bow and pull them both.
And he was like, "I want no part of this thing. Hanik are fucking dangerous."
Can he just
And
like
hides
crawl
in
up
your
arm and...
Yeah, it's like thank you thing.
Yeah.
What did he call it?
Hanik.
Is this something you
And
made
I
up,
will.
or is this from something else?
This is actually from Arcana of the Ancients.
Oh. I was like, I like the name. You did a good job naming it. But...
Oh. No,
They,
this
did,
like
is
they
the
did a
idea.
good job.
Thing.
They did a good job naming it.
I like the idea of a sentient strip of cloth that eats you, and it's called a scarf.
You guys don't know the names of these things, so I just have to call it what it looks like. It looks like a scarf.
Okay,
But it scarfs you.
I also have Arcana of the Ancients. I gotta see what this thing looks like in the book. So I know it's not gonna be the same.
I put a picture in the Discord.
Oh.
So, Daiyo, what are you doing?
Yeah, I will bonus action cast Hunter's Mark on that thing.
Mhm.
Spend one of my uses of Gunslinger and use Sharpshooter. So
Okay.
that's 26 to hit.
You hit.
26. And you want the damage separately, right?
Yeah.
Hunter's Mark, does that force damage or is like just extra damage?
It's just extra damage, whatever
Okay.
the normal damage type would be. I think
I
it's
don't
radiant
know-
for your laser bow.
I mean, I know it's like 1d8 piercing and 1d6 radiant, then plus
Okay.
the other stuff. So I don't know how to count.
It would be piercing.
Okay. So it's 18 piercing and 2 radiant.
Okay. It seems a little like the piercing didn't do quite as much. But so like the arrow hits it and it just goes straight through because it's a piece of cloth. It does seem like the radiant sort of burns a little bit more of a hole. But yeah. So that's your
I think I can
first
shoot again.
attack. Yeah, I think you get 2.
Yeah, I get 2. So the second one, I don't have the bonus, so it's 21.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. So it's 11 piercing and 4 radiant.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Simon, what would you like to do?
Simon would not like to accessorize with this thing. He will, however, reach around and like extend one hand, flat palm out, and fire off a code blast just to see what happens. But he's definitely going to try and catch the scarf one.
Okay.
20.
Nice.
Woo! All right. So gods only know what kind of weird ass events are going to happen in this place.
Okay.
D100.
No, this one is the Retroverse ones are D20s. So you would do whatever your normal max damage is, and then roll a D20 and tell me if you get an 11 or higher.
Right. Okay. So we're not doing the chart.
No.
Okay. Okay. So I got a 17 on the D20 roll.
Okay. So do whatever your normal max damage would be, and then roll the damage as if it were the normal attack.
Okay. So starting with 18 from 3d6 force damage.
Okay.
And then that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So another 11 force on top of that.
Okay. All right, so you hit it with your code blast, and for a second you think, "Oh, okay." It literally splits in half and starts to like float further down toward the sand,
Cool. Extra attack.
and then rips down the center, and it splits into a separate long string of scarf.
Great. Extra attack. I'm going to pick the one on the left.
Okay.
It's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
Yeah, okay. For a... Okay, 14. 14 force damage.
14. Okay. All right, so Demona, what would you like to do?
Earn it all day with a scorching ray at level 3.
Oh boy. Okay.
He doesn't fuck around.
So each ray is a separate attack roll, and being at 3rd level, that is 4 hurl. I cannot talk for the life of me. 4 rays of fire.
Nice.
So
Go for it.
2 on the left, 2 on the right. First one. 25.
Hits.
Do you want me to do the damage or just the rolls first?
Just do all the rolls first.
Okay. Second one. 29.
Yeah, that hits.
This one is 17.
Hits.
And lastly, 21.
Hits.
Nice. So 2d6 for each one of them. One on the left will take... And I get to add my intelligence modifier to the damage. Thankfully, I'm remembering it
one
this
of
time.
them.
Oh, just for one attack?
Just for one attack, yeah. I think you so like if it were fireball, you would do the damage once for it's once per turn, so you can't do the damage more than once this turn.
Ah, okay. Can I wait to figure out what the damage is and then add it to the weakest one? Or do you want me to pick one?
I would say pick one.
Okay. I'll wait to add that to the second one since the right side hasn't taken much damage. So that is 14 fire damage for the first 2 on the left.
Okay. It is not looking great.
Nice. And then the one on the right will take 19.
Okay. It is still up. The one on the left is barely just little bit of ribbons. It's not looking great. It's the Hanik's turn. So it cannot catch up to Gurk and Daiyo. Let's see. However, there is one individual as yet so far that has not tried to burn it alive, so it's gonna go after Cyberus.
Save me the trouble to move.
That's a 19 to hit him.
That does not hit, and I would like to use a reaction to attack it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Actually, there are two of them, so they're both gonna go for it. I'll say that the first one was the weakened one.
Okay. Well, 12.
That actually misses.
Oh, man.
By one. I'm sorry.
Oh, if only Bark was here.
Good for you, though. The second one got a even worse to hit. Got a 17, so that one misses also.
You could use that heroic inspiration to fix your roll.
Inspiration, you have to declare it before you use it.
Well, okay.
Sorry. Yeah. But it's your turn, though.
Okay, I'm going to drop Thyman. I'm going to drop him on the ground.
Ow!
Yeah, well, it's either that or I hit you with it. Hit him with you.
Please don't!
Okay, I'm going to activate my hands to pull out my great axe, and I'll attack the weaker one with my shield first.
Okay.
14.
Hits.
6 slashing damage.
Okay. Because it's the buzzsaw shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut it to just threads. It drifts to the ground, unmoving.
Okay, then I'm going to chop the other one with the big cleaver.
Okay.
24
Yeah, that hits.
for 13 damage. 13 slashing damage.
So I will say, you sort of slam into it and just embed it into the ground here. And you see very slowly, the two halves of it do split because you cut it in half, but it doesn't move. And you do see little, what at first looks like is definitely blood. And then this sort of, like, molasses colored other material that starts sizzling away at your axe. You believe that's the acid that was it was injecting, but it is dead.
Okay. I'll try to wipe the acid off in the dirt.
Yeah, you can easily enough wipe it off in the sand.
Are we off initiative
Simon
now?
sort of, yes, you are.
Okay.
Simon sort of rolls back over. I'm really glad that you dropped me on the other side of where that thing landed. Also, I landed
like
face down in the sand.
I would like to pick up Thyman and put him in my bag.
Okay.
So it's gonna be the law office of Simon and Thyman.
Oh my god, I love this.
How much is left of this thing?
The two halves of it are pretty much intact. The rest are just absolute tatters.
All right. I fly down towards one of them and I use my staff, my quarterstaff, and I poke it. Does it burn the staff at all?
The actual, like, the fabric does not. Where it was cut, it looks like it is a little bit.
All right. I use the staff to, like, scoop it up and, like, get it stuck on the end, and then I bring it over to myself because I'm so tall now, and I can't just reach down and grab things anymore. At least not conveniently. And
like a
I
horse
check it
taking a
out.
drink.
What's the texture of it like? Is it like a
somewhere
silk thing?
between somewhere between silk and the that really thin sort of raspy feel of like snake skin, like a shed skin. So
How much of it is left?
probably about like a foot on either side or so.
You thinking of taking a sample for a study?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I since my gear has melded with me and I can't just put it in my backpack, I tie it around my wrist.
Yeah, Simon is definitely gonna try and take record, like, and start taking notes, like you do, because like getting this opportunity to study this much corruption and this much corrupted life in, in the wild, as it were, is just his little researcher heart is singing right now.
You hear like the wind shift as Gurk flies over behind you and then gallops towards you and sees that you're writing notes and says, "Are you studying corruption as well?"
It was my field of study not too very long ago, as a matter of fact, but there was an accident, and I had to stop doing that for a while.
Hmm.
Where did you study? I've been looking to get into that.
I was at Rosa Gallica University. We were in the Department of Applied Corruption Energy. It was all very experimental, but they had to shutter the project after there was a rift incident. My wife was in the program. She was caught in a blast. We never saw the body.
What? I'm sorry. But if you're willing, I'd be willing to be the investor to start up that program again for you if you want.
I'm also interested in that.
Both Cyberus and I have been studying corruption for quite some time. It's the whole reason why, at least I think also for you, Cyberus, why we came to Del Diablo in the first place.
Pretty much.
So he'll take a moment to kind of chew that one over. He says, "Give me some time to think it over."
Oh, of course. I understand.
Maybe we could take over Yost's lab when he doesn't need it.
It almost sounds like you expect us to fail.
No, we're going to succeed, and then he'll let us use his lab.
Very optimistic, but I like your idea.
How's everyone else doing? Everyone else all right?
I don't think anyone got hurt much.
I gallop with a slight limp.
Andy sort of peeks out from behind Daiyo's hair. I'm good.
Yeah, I am. As I was when I came here.
I heal myself. I heal myself a little bit. One of my front hooves got burned really bad from that acid, but I healed a bit.
Mona's just got her head on a
So
swivel.
let's say. Go ahead.
I was almost at the end of just saying that Demona was keeping an eye out for any additional threats or anything coming towards us.
And you don't see anything in this immediate area, but I'll say you guys continue onward. And you have, Handy tells you have a fair amount of travel ahead of you. He says, well, first we're going to go through the mushroom wilds, and then we should be...
What kind of mushroom? Do they talk?
They're weird.
Simon's gonna stand up just a little straighter.
But most of them are really weird.
Weird in what
They
way?
don't...
Sounds like a mushroom.
Weird as in if you eat it you die, or weird as in if you eat it
So,
you
like-
talk to God?
Probably weird and
Don't
they
eat 'em.
have teeth and try to
Don't eat them.
bite
Yeah,
you.
Sounds like
like
You
like
wouldn't
some
want to
will
eat
bite
anything.
you.
Yeah, of course
some
they
of 'em-
can.
Of course.
Some of them play music that will basically trap you for ever. Though again, time. Some.
What music? No.
Let's see.
So you're taking
lot-
us to
most
a
of them
landscape
don't
that sings you to
Really
death.
speak like your tongue. And like most of them don't have intelligences the way that we do. It's very like hive mind and
Do any of them make you grow bigger?
No, that's weird. Why would they do that?
Tales and legends.
Sounds like something out of a video game.
Well, there was here a tale of one type of mushroom that made you bigger and another one that made you small.
Oh, I've heard of those.
Do you know an Alice?
No.
The expert field researcher in corruption?
It was worth a shot.
Seriously,
But-
I'm just imagining now, like,
Are
imagine
we walking
Alice,
and talking now at least?
but she's
Yeah.
20 and she's like a scientist, and she's equivalent to that one
Mhm.
lady who lived with the gorillas for a while.
Oh,
She's kind of now.
she's. Was it Diane Fossey? Are we talking about?
Yes, they're her.
Was it Fossey or Foster?
Fossey, I think.
I think it was Fosse.
I was thinking of that.
But now I'm imagining
Anyway.
Broadway gorillas, and that's amazing.
But you guys continue through the lands here. Eventually those arches sort of stop appearing. They thin out, and the sort of magenta sand goes to a dark purple, almost like bark. Like the entire ground is flaky layers of bark. All around you, you see mushrooms of impossible size. There's one that stretches up probably about 70 feet and then goes into like a dome shape, almost like an umbrella. You can see there are all manner of winged creatures sort of hanging from inside of it, upside down.
Daiyo, are you still in my back?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a frantic screeching noise as Simon's stylus is just flying across the tablet right now.
There's... Huh?
Would sense degradation let me sense every creature within 60 feet at all times? Because they're all corrupted?
I'm not.
I would like to think here it's just overridden because it's just everywhere.
it's
Yeah.
kind
Like
of
white it
white
out.
noise here. Like
Okay, that's what I thought.
you attempt it and you go blind for a second.
Yeah, you sense
It's-
all the degradation.
It's like a paladin. I know when a paladin tries to sense undead and they're in an unhallowed area, it's just white noise because it's just so much.
Yeah. The
So-
difference is here it is literally the air molecules are corrupted. Everything. You guys continue on. You come upon.
Can I take some mushroom samples? Are there any small enough to be as samples?
There are a couple, yeah. There's a couple that you sort of walk through a field of what at first in the distance looked like sort of dried, brittle, like fluffy pink flowers. And as you get closer, you realize that the like strands of the mushroom, it's almost like cotton candy or like spun wool or floss in a small little swirl on top of it.
Yeah. Of course, before I do this, I say, Daiyo, this might be dangerous. Are you fine with me with being on my back? Because you can get off right now if you want. I'm gonna go get some mushrooms. The spores might be toxic. That's why I'm saying that.
I'll say I will offer to go with Gurk for that. I've got myself a knife and some empty bottles that I can take samples, like cut up some larger pieces with.
Oh, excellent! And I untie the henik or whatever it's called part, and I make it into a improv face mask, and I go over and start.
That seems like a profoundly bad idea.
Wait,
Oh, we can have-
do you wait me to get off, or do you just sandwich me in between you and?
I can
mean-
definitely only carry one.
I'm fine
Okay.
either way, but
I'll stand over here if you want to ride me, but I won't be able to move right.
oh, yep, that's about everywhere Daiyo goes. Like, just innuendo follows.
Yeah.
Some of the others that you find, there are a handful of gnarled, stunted trees that are only about like 2 feet tall or so, that
Trees,
have
you
what
say?
it's more like the dead trunk of a tree. It has no leaves. It just has these sort of mushroom things on them.
No.
And at first, as you come closer, they look just like sort of flat,
Like a withered
disc,
bonsai or something.
Almost like a regular like oak tree or so that had been cut down until all the branches are just stumps, and it has no leaves any longer.
And then it's covered in caps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As you get closer, they at first look like the sort of like overlaying disc-like mushrooms that are sort of flesh-colored, and as you get closer, you realize they're sort of like wrinkled and curled in such a way that they almost look like human ears.
Great. Wood ears.
Okay. Sorry. I just realized my sidetracking has been like stalling us for a while, and we're supposed to kind of be doing this in one session. So I'm just gonna. Yeah, we get samples of all these different mushrooms.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a fun little tangent.
I know. I wanted to stay here and just do this as a campaign.
I'll say I'm gonna go a little bit to like cinematic mode. There is one moment where you're like collecting the the ones that are shaped like ears. And as you start to like walk away, you start to hear something, and you're like looking around trying to figure out where it's coming from, and then you realize that you're not hearing it from your ears. You're hearing it from the ones you're holding.
Oh,
That's really neat.
I say that's outstanding.
Do you have like what do you have for the samples? Do you just have bags to put them in, or do you have like jars?
I do actually. I have empty potions of healing bottles that have just been rattling around in the bag that I have on me. Like I have a satchel.
Can like Simon and I just do like a real quick like nature check or something to see if we can like keep living specimens? You know, like get soil samples and put them in.
As you guys, I'm gonna describe a couple of them and tell you what the effects are, and we'll just say you guys are high enough level you can survive all of these effects. One of the ones that you find are sort of like the also disc ones that sort of like are overlapped, stacked on top of each other along one of these. It's actually not a tree. It's like a fallen stone, almost like shale. And they are completely clear, almost like intricately carved glass.
Fascinating.
And you go to pluck one, and when you do, it doesn't come off. It has like a stem that continues into the rock, and as you're pulling this, one of the other mushrooms above it extends out further until these glassy tendrils start trying to smack you guys around. You do manage to pull away. You get one broken one. And it doesn't feel like glass. It looks like glass. It feels sort of slimy, almost like a snail's exterior.
I love it and hate it, and I want to see all of this like art.
Yeah, this is straight up like weird 80s fantasy movie.
This is amazeballs. I love this. This setting is a heck and cool. We should come back here. Okay.
You guys continue on a little further, and
hang on. Sorry, but Luke was trying to say something. I'm not sure if anybody else heard it, but his audio was muted on my side. I didn't hear a word he said. It was like breaking.
I just said we can come back anytime.
Oh yeah, okay.
But we can never leave.
As you guys are sort of looking at some of the other ones of these that are bizarre, all of you feel a sort of thump, and then another one, and then
anyone else feel that?
Look in the distance and beyond, because some of these mushrooms are absolutely massive. Some of them are the size of trees. You see a light in the distance that almost looks like a beacon light, and then you see a figure moving. It looks like this elongated, gaunt, long-fingered creature with a blackish body, and where the face would be at the head of the chest, there's no head. The torso is just a open open hole where light just pours forth. And as you guys are sort of collecting, Thyman is sort of rolling along the ground, is like, nope, and except every time he rolls, he covers his mouth, so it's like, nope. You guys sort of evacuate the area rather quickly, and come to a area of these extended a long path of these round black stones, and the ground is sort of like a muddy texture that is bright red, like the oversaturated color of blood, of very fresh blood. It doesn't feel like blood, but it has that color to it. And as you guys are traveling through, Handy says, "Welcome to the Red Salt Flats, guys."
Oh.
Not as many spooks here.
How many hours of travel do you think it's been?
Probably a good, like, 3 or 4 at this point.
Okay. I'm still a vulture scimitar thing.
Okay. All around you are the, like, tiered land masses, and the sort of reddish liquid covers them. So, like, back home, this would be a sort of pearlescent, bluish salt water. Here, it's this red tinted liquid that is sort of sticky, like a very diluted sap, but doesn't seem to have much scent. There are these long stalkish plants that are almost like bamboo, but they're not segmented in the same way, that have no leaves. But as you guys are sort of traveling through here, you see roots of, like, very obvious tree roots that just stretch for hundreds of feet. And in the distance, you see what at first you thought were clouds, but it seems like just this mass of fibrous tissue that almost looks like a treetop, but it's pink and the branches are red, almost like a sort of transparent brain. And this tree is absolutely massive. It is far in the distance. As you guys approach one of these branches, Sandy sort of like, okay, let me down.
Okay.
He sort of scuttles down your arm and whatever limb you proffer, and scuttles over to one of those roots, and then just very politely,
Like knocking or Morse code?
yeah, like tapping on it, just lightly, just 3 quick, and then waits for a bit, and he says, all right, I think she knows we're here. Oh, this part's always weird. And all of you, for a moment, he says this part's weird, and for a moment, you guys are blind and deaf, and feel as if the just your heart drops out, like you just were on a roller coaster and you just dropped for ages. And you sort of, your vision comes back to you and you look around and all you can see is just light and color. It feels like what being in a galaxy should feel like when a star is first born. There's bright blues and reds and purples and swarms all around that it is impossible to make out any discernible features or anything other than light and colors and this strange, this searing heat that almost feels cold. It doesn't make any sense.
Simon thinks, oh, these are those kind of mushrooms. This is familiar. This is fine. This is fine.
This is great.
And a second later, you guys sort of come to, you open your eyes again. You realize your eyes had been closed the whole time. Basically that, yeah. Very much like that, Scott. And you realize you had your eyes closed the whole time. Or you weren't really seeing anything.
Or were we seeing everything?
You look around and under your feet is just a broken, dry, cracked badlands. Like you're in sort of a dry desert, but it's not sand, it's just hard ground.
Mm-hmm.
You see those roots all around you. Sort of look around, and when you look up, you see this massive tree trunk that's sort of a pale, almost fleshy color that extends up and then turns and then up again, and you look up and you see the sitting form of what you had thought was a tree branch is the leg of this absolutely colossal sized creature that has 4 legs and 7 or 8 arms that are like tree branches, but are holding scrolls and quills that are just absolutely massive. And these feathers look like they must have belonged to some mix of a ancient dinosaur. Another one looks like a phoenix. It's actually on fire. There are a pair. One of the other hands is holding a pair of scissors that look to be made of this just ancient black metal. And in front of you, and you sort of look around and you see curling around, and you guys are sort of in line, are just leagues of creatures standing in line. There is one that is a sort of hybrid snake person, but where the limbs would be are just like spikes, almost like the outer spiky porcupine areas, and the head is just a smooth pearlescent stone. As you start to like look around, you guys all hear a voice. You are not from this realm. And two of the arms start to turn towards you, and you see one of those massive scrolls that are probably 15 feet long and just stretch endlessly lower down to where you guys are, and you can see your names written in tiny, tiny script. And it's the name that you were born with. So not Cyberus's, it's not Cyberus's name, it's the name that he was born with. And I think Gurk's name is Gurk, right?
Yep. Draugr.
Yeah. Handy just immediately collapses, prostrate. Judge? Thyman sort
I
of
do a horse's
rolls
bow. I don't know if you've seen a horse bow before, but
yeah.
Yeah, I do that.
I'll do something too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'll go ahead and show due respect here. I mean, I'm definitely in the presence of greatness.
Yeah.
You see, you can, Daiyo and Simon, you both can hear this because you have stupid high passive perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
What?
One of the creatures far at the, actually
What
all,
do our right ears hear?
fuck. Basically, I was gonna say everybody but Cyberus, but Cyberus still has the highest passive perception on Corruption Crew. You guys hear one individual at the head of that line. You hear the same voice that you just heard explain or say the phrase, why should you continue to exist? And then you hear voices sort of overlapping. You can't make out exactly what this individual is saying. It doesn't seem like it's in your language.
In what language? I wonder. Wait, let me check. It's definitely not Druidic.
It is not Druidic. I will say, Simon, you recognize parts of it seem like a sort of rough, very poorly translated mix of the handful of phrases you remember from ancient, that ancient corruption language that you've read about, and Dwarvish.
Oh, interesting.
But this individual sort of leans forward, and you can see now that altogether, this creature is like a humanoid skeleton, sort of, except the bones are more made from like tree branches, and where the head would be is just the like tree branch neck extends up into this cloud of nebulous fibrous material that almost looks like a brain. And as the voice speaks, you see it light up in different places like the neurons of a brain.
We feel like that question was to us.
If no one else will speak up, Simon is gonna step forward and, with respect, Your Honor, I do not know that I should exist. I only know that I do exist. I do not know that the universe has an intention. I only know that I have my intention, and I intend to preserve the balance, to save a life, and to understand.
Understanding is a worthy cause. What is this life that you intend to save? Is that worth saving as well?
Many would say so. He was a great warrior. He preserved peace and prevented many deaths. He has lived a long time. The Ranger Prime Yostarian.
A great warrior. That is a worthy quality. Why do you come to me?
We seek a rare ingredient to lift a curse on him, the tears of a Neverborn, freely given.
What reason do I have to cry?
Life has many moments where tears are appropriate. Grief, joy, excitation. Sand in your eye.
You do actually hear a very, very soft, intake of, that laugh. There have been many things that no longer exist, that were worthy of existence, that were not cut by my hand. And as she says that, those scissors snip with this earth-shattering metal on metal sound, and one of the individuals in line that you can't really make out their form just vanishes. She turns to the rest of you. It turns to the rest of you. What of the rest of you?
I believe that there is no other purpose in life than to compete with others that live, to be stronger than others and survive. I believe that corruption is a very misunderstood element of our universe. There are many that shun it, fear it, or it is something they do not understand, but not everything needs to be understood. And in that, you can find beauty in it.
The being that you're looking at, the head doesn't move at all. It was the arms that sort of expressionize and gesture. You do feel a sort of when you're hearing these voices, it's telepathically. You do sense a feeling of confusion for a moment when you say the word corruption, and then it says, the other side's word for what our being is. And we are greatly feared.
And what might you call yourself?
We are the Neverborn. We are creatures that were born before the act of birth, the first of all in the underverse, as it were. Your realm is the oververse. Myself and my kin are the mothers and fathers of all that you see before you.
Even the Great Eye?
The Great Eye is not a being. It is the gaping wound that connects our worlds, through which the infection of your rigidity flows into ours.
Did you create the lords and ladies?
The lords and ladies were remade when they came through the eye.
Do they serve your works?
The lords and ladies are, as you said of this Ranger Prime, they are peacekeepers. They are our representatives to protect our people in your world before they come back home to us.
Can you tell me how they were chosen?
They were chosen by their own force of will.
So they were strong.
I myself was not chosen. I simply came to be. My consciousness melded with every other consciousness and thought and material here and was born into that what I am. And as is the same for the inspiration, the forge, the corrupted father, and the corruption that walks. We are...
Out of character, I can't wait to see these notes. But it'll be after this campaign, probably.
Oh, yeah. She says, our worlds were not meant to meet. The places where they bleed into one another are not always logical.
Do you seek to close the eye then?
Closing the eye would change much. It would cease the pain that many of us feel, although some of our kind enjoy the more physical forms that it has forced us into.
Would it be taken as a net good to separate the two realms, keep them from harming each other? I mean, if our very existences are mutually exclusive, then surely it would be wiser and safer in the long run to ensure their preservation by separating.
Some may say that, but then would you not be able to save the world if we were separated right now?
Well, respectfully, if we were separating, then it would have also removed the cause of the curse in the first place.
Perhaps. Although this bleeding of our realms was not a mere accident.
The implication then that it might be unwise to interfere in the will of something that we may not understand?
Simply that the rift was open once. Some fool may again attempt to open it if it were to be closed. She the form sort of sits back, and you guys that the sky shifts. It had been a sort of like ambient gray cloudiness in the back, the sky here sort of shifts to a much darker scene, and the crowd, the line that you had been waiting in vanishes, and in the distance you see the image of a hill with a crowd of people standing on it in a circle, and one individual raises up a staff, and in the sky above the sort of cloudy expanse, the clouds rip apart, and then to reveal the blue sky behind, and then the sky rips and reveals this long black expanse through which color just explodes out. Cyberus, Gurk, and Demona, you have seen this before. When the Horomancer took you back to the moments, you've seen that hill before. That's the same hill where the treaty was signed.
I look around. Do I see our own selves here in the distance
You
watching?
do not. No.
Okay.
You can tell this is. It's obviously some sort of illusion. It's showing you a memory. It's not a perfect rendition, but it's very reminiscent of what you've seen before.
That staff.
Playing their memories.
I suppose it was. You guys all see it as well.
I gotta ask, since this is the second time, and the second showing you always look at more details than you did the first time. The guy's staff. What does it look like? Is it some unique special thing?
The figures are sort of silhouetted. It's hard to tell many details of them. You can see that there is clearly one leader, though, in the center that's holding the staff up. It looks initially you're like, oh, staff, okay, probably wizard or some kind. But instead of wearing robes, they're wearing this heavy pointed armor that looks ancient, almost made of bone, but it's of course hard to tell because it's sort of silhouetted. The staff looks pointed at the top, almost it could function as some kind of pole arm as well as a staff. The judge says, "It may be fitting then that it was your realm that opened the rift and could be your realm that closes it. You have been an interesting conversation, and I deem that at least 2 of you have cause to exist. What of the other 3? And then turns to look at Handy and Simon. 5, rather.
Oh boy.
Does one need a reason?
I would say yes.
I was about to say, we're so deeply philosophical, you can ask a question like that and be like, does one though?
Yeah, but if literally the God of Judgment is asking you, then the answer is yes, you do.
Unless that's the test.
Woo! So your hope here is to logic error out the God of Judgment.
No, not exactly.
24.
24 what?
Do you perhaps mean 42?
No.
I was trying to parody it, but yeah.
It also works because everything's jumbled up in corruption.
That's right. Yeah.
The scroll that this creature is holding lowers down, and you hear the voice in your head, Cyberus. What is it, Rusty? What reason do you have to continue existence?
Don't know, but I want to find out. I think it's worth the try. I hope to understand as much as I can.
Curiosity is a worthy goal. You may continue to exist.
Good. Thank you.
Daiyo Hirasaka? The fuck? I had it written down.
So I don't know what qualities you're looking for or you're judging, but I can only be honest. I've lived most of my life with only one goal, and that's to never be the prey, always be the hunter. I don't know if that's selfish. I don't know if, I could tell you that I've been trying to protect people around me from the harm of the beast I've been hunting, but I've mostly just been hunting them because they were more dangerous than I am, and I wanted to be stronger than them. Again, may not be. Oh.
The seeking of strength is a noble goal, and one that you very likely will find very valuable in this realm. You may continue to exist. And the scroll shifts and faces where Demona is. And Demona, the name on the scroll had been Demona, and then it is crossed out and written with another name in Infernal that she's never seen before. And what of you, Mage? What is your continued reason for existence?
There was a monster. It took my village. It took my arm. As far as I know, it may have taken my master. I want to stop that monstrosity and anything like it from ever causing the same devastation that took that name away from me, that took my village.
Revenge is a noble cause. One we are very familiar with here. And I'll say, actually probably all of you except possibly Demona, just because she's got the gigantic scroll on her face, do see in the distance that hill with the figures on it fade away. And where the familiar rift of Del Diablo is, you see appearing hundreds and hundreds of these black metal colossus ships, with literal ships with metal hulls and black sails waiting outside this rift. And then the image shifts, and that sort of shadowy silhouette that had been covering everything changes. Cyberus, Gurk, you recognize that's what the rift looks right now. And those ships remain. You see figures moving atop them. You see what looks like weapons, the cannons, bayonet, not a bayonetta, the other thing, ballista, arranged atop. It is an army waiting to strike. The judge says, revenge is a familiar feeling here, and one that we have learned to let go of in the face of trying to mitigate harm. You are correct that lives that are worthy of existence are also worth saving. I deem you all worthy of existing and shall grant you my tears. And the entire figure moves, and that head that hadn't moved before at all. There is this just absolutely crushing, cracking, thunderous sound of what sounds like trees breaking, except an entire forest all at once, as this tree being kneels down further and further and further until you are face to face with the chin-like features and this just cloud of fibrous, brainy material. And all of the veins and things in the brain start to light up, and dripping down through this fibrous filament is liquid, almost like a brown sap that drips down to where you guys are.
I think I got an extra bottle left.
You sort of hold the bottle out to catch it, and when it drips, it it makes a tinkling sound, and you look inside, and inside is a very small garnet gem.
Oh, cool. I will stopper that up and put it securely away. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for your audience, Judge. And the
Thank
gift.
you for the conversation. I trust that those of you who are familiar with corruption will do the best that you can to mitigate harm. And perhaps that those of you that are less familiar perhaps now have a better understanding.
This was a very insightful conversation.
Indeed. Good luck with your quest. And the being sits back up again. And Handy sort of picks himself back up from off the ground where he had been laying flat the whole time. And says, "Okay, that was terrifying. We gotta hoof it the rest of the way. No offense." Turning over to Centaur Gurk.
No, none taken.
So this is effectively, we have what we came for, and we're now
Yes.
being allowed to leave?
Yes.
Teleportation circle.
Perhaps a bit away from the judge, so that they might have their space.
Oh, I thought we were taken back to where we had first gotten there. My bad.
No, the effect from Handy was basically like, she teleported you here. You kind of got to get back on your own.
Okay. Then a respectable distance, but as soon as that is achieved, Demona just instantly gets the teleportation circle ready.
I don't think
I will
teleportation
say,
circle...
as you start to like draw it, you can see the lines start to like move and change in ways that you can't predict, and like you see your hand moving, but that's not how you intended. It doesn't seem like it's functioning.
Ooh, correct.
And it's actually forming like weird gibberish symbols that you've seen before on the treaty. It's that same sort of gibberish language that makes no sense that you had seen before. You're guessing it's some part of the treaty that prevents travel this way, and is also possibly why those unpredictable phrase and the rift above Del Diablo is the only reliable way of transport, aside from this sort of back door that Yost seemed to make.
Just,
I'll say you guys can see in the
find a way to break the rules again about the universe.
Well, teleportation circle wouldn't go to different planes, right?
It would not. The issue is that there isn't another circle on this plane that Demona knows to go to.
Okay.
I seriously thought that it actually would have taken us back to the locations of the glyphs that I have in my book, so I apologize.
It's all right. It's one of those things where you guys, a lot of the stuff you don't know until you got here. You guys, I'll say, do make your way. You can see in the distance those tall stalk red plants that you had seen in the red salt flats. You guys can make your way in that direction. Handy does say, actually, there is another way. I think there might be a herd nearby of sources. Hey, Blue Lady, you're good with tracking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You should look around, see if you see any more of well, they look sort of like it's like Handy's like pointing to Gurk's hoof feet, sort of like this, and sort of uses his hand to draw like the equivalent of a horseshoe, of like a horse hoof footprint, like a natural one. And then he scribbles the outline of it. He says, but a little like fuzzy because they're kind of hairy still. And given a decent enough time, Daiyo, you follow these tracks and find a herd of terrifying beasts that are 8-legged, furry-legged, horse-like creatures with a horse,
The horse
equine
spiders?
body and head, except the compound eyes and mandibles of a spider.
I will look at Handy and what
Thanks,
do
I
you
hate
make me
it.
do this? Why do you make me do this?
They're
Grug-
fast as hell.
Grug reverts back. I would like to think it's probably his time's probably ran
Oh
out.
yeah, no, it's probably being close to. Actually, yeah, we'll be coming on 6 hours now.
It's half my druid
Half your
level,
level,
rounded
so-
down. Yeah, so 6 hours. yeah.
6. He's like, I mean, make them walk the rest of the way, but they're faster. Just saying. They're very friendly.
Grog goes over to one. Animal handling, I guess.
Go for it. Oh hey, and you don't have disadvantage anymore.
Yeah, too bad I rolled a nat too. Come over here, you dumb spider horse. 6.
It like walks towards you, and you're like, "Holy shit, that worked!" And then it just keeps walking past you.
So that's going to be a big old nope from me. And Demona doesn't show any of this. This is just me outright. Demona would use fly.
Okay.
Just
Uh,
start levitating and not even worry about these creatures.
Just like,
Yeah, I was gonna say is that sounds actually like a pretty good idea. Simon sees her levitating and decides, "Oh yeah, I remember I can do that too." And he decides to spend some code points, and his feet take on a kind of a weird pixelated quality about the heels, and he lifts up into the air and starts zooming off because it's faster that way.
So what is your total movement speed with that?
Well, if I'm zooming and I use my bonus action to dash, then I'm guessing it's about 80 feet.
The Apogee can dash as a bonus action?
No, as an action, because I'm not doing anything else in my action.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I don't know, kind of automatically said bonus action. But yes, so
So
zipping along.
2/5 of you say fuck that to the sources.
Not that
I'm
I
gonna go
think-
up to some of the sources and use Earn Corrupted to try to take over one of them.
Good
Okay,
lord.
is that like a saving throw?
Yeah. Wisdom
right.
throw.
Oh boy.
They gotta beat a 14.
Okay.
It's all of them within 30 feet.
Jesus
Nice.
Christ.
I just need one of them to fail, and then I can command it. If it's under one, if it's 1 or less CR, then I can command it for 1 minute.
Ooh, you might have a problem after a minute.
Well, if I'm nice to it and just ask it to take me, then maybe after the minute it'll continue to do that because it knows I'm nice.
She's-
Or I'll fall off and have to run for it. Either way, it's fun.
Are you actually statting to CR? Because if you combine giant spider with horse, I think it would be like CR1 maybe.
yeah.
I look up riding horse and it's 1/4.
They failed.
Ooh.
Or at least one of them did. I'll say roughly about it's a herd of maybe about 20 of them, and I'll say roughly like a third of them fail.
All right. Well, I can only control one, so I'll just pick one that's close by.
Oh, okay.
It can hold my weight.
I thought you could control any in 30 feet.
You can choose one creature that failed.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
Okay.
Doesn't- Yeah. So then I'll just tell it that I'm nice, and it should give me a ride for a little while.
Okay. It tolerates that. I'll say these things are relatively domesticated. As long as you're not outwardly aggressive and don't roll a 2, they will allow you to ride on them.
Yeah, I was hoping to avoid rolling because I don't think I would beat
Yeah.
a 2.
So you guys make your way, some flying, some on at least one on a source.
Wild shape again.
Some
But this time I
perhaps
turn
walking.
into a weird two-legged reptilian-like creature. Almost like a ostrich in a way, but a lot more lizard-like. Reddish scales. But then it has giant eagle wings.
So you're a
Nice.
raptor.
I am...
God damn it.
You're like a new model raptor with the feathery arms.
He's a fucking eagle raptor.
Yeah.
Eagle
Oh, clip this and send it to Game Grumps.
They have no idea what you're talking about, but alright.
You do.
This is a combination of the giant strider, which is with the
Wow.
fire newts,
Mhm.
and giant eagle.
Okay, cool. And
I very
Daiyo,
much prefer to ride that than the spider horses.
I'm very, very warm to the touch.
That's all I need to know.
you guys make your way through the lands of this place. It does seem like you understand now why Handy mentioned that directions don't make as much sense, because after you get past the red salt flats, you don't see the mushroom wilds any longer. You see what looks like just miles and miles of different color crystals that are just absolutely massive, glacier size. The first you see is a sort of pinkish color, sort of akin to like the ones in the gates that you first came through. It is the size. It is the size of a cliff. It's 100 to 150 feet tall, and encased inside this crystalline, almost ice-like structure is a figure with 6 arms down either side, sort of roughly humanoid skeleton frame except for the 6 arms, and a massive, like 60-foot greatsword embedded in this crystal, just unmoving. And beyond it, you see hundreds more of different of creatures, of skeletal humanoids and orcs and horses, like normal horses, just frozen in time in these crystals. You continue further, and the weather sort of shifts, and it gets much colder and snowier, and you start to see another one where at first it looks like just a icy mountain that's covered in snow, and when you come to the other side, you look up, and the peak of this mountain that you had sort of curled around to look now at the head on of this peak, it is the open, snarling jaw of a white-furred bear that is colossal size. It's probably 200 feet tall. Each of those teeth are taller than each of you are yourself. Just frozen in time, snarling, frozen in place.
Terrifying, but awesome.
You continue further on, and eventually make your way back to that sort of sandy textured place that you had seen last time, except through here there are small, like pockets of pools of little bits of water that when you sort of look at them, you see yourselves reflected, but reversed. Like you're looking from the opposite side, and your forms are extended far, like you're much, much taller. And after
I'm sorry.
traveling...
I'm gonna go into the mirror dimension.
You sort of put your hand in, and
Wing.
when you lift it out, your fingers are twice as long as they normally would be.
God. Best to leave that particular bear unpoked, I think.
Does that feature look permanent?
It's hard to tell.
Did I gain another layer?
You did not.
Okay.
And as you guys are traveling through here, you see more tracks, Daiyo. And at first, you're like, "No, nope, I don't even want to know. I don't want to look. I don't care." And you just kind of glance at them again. They're weirdly symmetrical, like perfectly symmetrical. And unlike the weird lumpy rolling of Thymen, there are two of them, and they have tracks, like treads, like tires. And as you guys continue further, you find yourselves, you again see those tall rose arch gates of the trees that are curled up with the massive crystals, sort of flower shaped. And sort of resting next to one of them is a machine. A wheeled machine, looks sort of, has like a square base with treaded wheels, a like vertical column, and what looks like a bunch of different sensors and cameras and different things. It is unmoving. It looks like it has been for a very long time. It's covered in some of that magenta sand.
Are you telling me that the plane of corruption has its own rover?
I think this is like this is what happened to the Opportunity rover. It fell into a fray on Mars and ended up here.
No, it's the
Simon,
Opportunidrone. It's a monodrone.
You've heard of these things. These occasionally some of the first experiments that people started doing with corruption in your program and others like it was to send probes through to try and see if they could collect anything. But of course the issue is that getting back is next to impossible because those gateways are almost universally one way.
So it was like a less successful Stargate.
Yeah. You know that there's a good chance they probably send a couple of still images back, but not a lot.
Ooh, does this... Okay, I would like to actually go over and give this particular probe an investigation check. I want to see if this was one of ours.
Go for it.
While he's doing that, my crazy reptilian bird form flies up to these arch trees.
26.
And I rip off a branch.
Simon?
26.
It kind of does, though it looks like it's from many, many years ago, like probably about 7 years or so before you joined the program. The technology is pretty outdated from how quickly things move nowadays.
Do I think I could recover a black box or like a data order?
Go ahead and roll a just an intelligence check, unless you have like proficiency in computers tools or something, or mechanics tools.
Let's see.
What is Simon's background again?
He's a researcher, Saege.
Would you say that background would give him proficiency with that?
No, but like she said, like this is the kind of things that I had worked with previously, so I would have an idea of how they were constructed.
Yeah.
All right. 22.
I will say you do draw it. It's not so much a black box as like the where the memory would be stored on like a computer.
Mm-hmm.
You do pull it out. It's definitely gone a little weird, where the bits of metal are like welded together. The pieces of metal that should be wire seem to be like plant based. Like it's like the stem of a flower. The like shiny metal bits look to be like a pearlescent like abalone, like a shell sort of thing. It looks like being here has changed it somewhat. You don't know how useful it'll be, but it's here. I'm
gonna give this over to the De-Fragger. Do you think it's possible to remove the corruption from this thing and return it to its native state?
From the data drive?
Definitely not here. at least.
I think De-Fragger's creature only. You can remove corruption.
I mean, we could try. It wouldn't be the
and-
normal way I do it, but maybe with some study.
Maybe something to take back to the professor then.
And I'll
Yeah.
say that in the distance, you guys can see the familiar dark glow of the purple portal that you know would lead home. And it's
speaking
kind of
of
strange.
which-
You feel like you've sort of come at it from the other side, from where you came at it the
Mhm.
first time.
We
If
walked
you
around the
awaken
far
that-
side of the world.
I could cure it.
Say that again.
If you awaken the data drive, then we could probably cure it.
The like pain on Lluis's face of like, that's a bad idea. No. I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What, Transformers?
Gruk's just watching all
The
this,
thing.
and he's making random bird noises.
Good lord. Okay, so yeah, no,
Good boy.
I'll just pocket that, stash along with all the other corrupted ass little samples in my pocket. His pocket or his satchel is gonna be ticking over like Chernobyl. Better rush this on
And
home.
you guys make your way back through the portal and into Yost's lab. You have succeeded your quest, at least. Anything you guys want to do before you head back?
Strike a pose.
Is Handy with us?
He is not. He did bid you goodbye. He's like,
Simon?
yeah, nah. I
He
can't
waved
go through
goodbye.
there. The only way that I could go through there is, goddamn.
Oh,
They're like, yeah, the only way that we could go through there is like if we were like part of you, I guess maybe. But yeah, no.
Wait, how would that work?
No. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye.
would you?
It's fine.
Would you? Would you want to?
Write us someday.
I mean, if you had a
I don't
thought, you
know,
would
I mean,
have sort of an arm, right?
I don't.
I mean,
really
you could always
remember
use
it all
another
that
hand,
well,
but this is probably not the way I meant.
5 times the charm?
I remember vaccine aren't super keen on our kind. Like, you two kind of are the exception. Well, 3. You're kind of into this stuff, right? Right, Simon? Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm into it as so much as I just like to understand it.
Well, no, I think we're good. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible, and I'd rather not chance it when the alternative is could go to a world that most likely is gonna hate my guts. Do I have guts? 2, could cease existence. I mean, I did just survive the judge, so I think I'm good.
What if you were part of me? As in, I chop off my hand and you replace it.
I mean,
Boy,
then
Gurk
I'm
is just a
probably
really say
good.
yes type of guy, isn't he?
Why do you wanna bring? I mean, aren't you happy here, Handy?
I mean, it's a living.
That's better than most people in the other side.
Well,
might
it's
be
been
better
a
off
well, it's
where
been
you
a
are.
pleasure, Andy.
Same to you guys. Good luck.
Sorry, I meant. Just kidding. I guess I wild shaped back to have this conversation,
Yeah.
so it's fine. Whatever.
And you guys step back through the portal.
Before we go, I'm going to
Oh.
take off to just smell what it's like in there. I would regret it if I didn't at least experience it a little bit.
Okay. So you're gonna like take the suit off for a second.
Yeah, just to see what it smells like, tastes like.
Take a deep whiff of corruption.
Yeah.
Roll a corruption saving throw.
All right, I haven't done this in a very long time.
Remember, the amount of layers you have adds to the modifier on the d20, and that's it.
I rolled an 8 on the die and I have 4 layers.
So it would be a 12 total.
Okay, so you succeeded. You feel it seeping into you. Your body seems to be fighting it off for the moment. But it's very strong.
That's good.
How long do you wait?
I'll just go through after I get a whiff.
Okay.
Just wanted to experience it.
It was that sort of feeling that you get on a roller coaster of like that dread of like, this is awesome. This could kill me. This is awesome. This could fucking unmake me. You guys step back through 2 Radix into the darkened lab. The Modron had been sort of doing laps around the room that you guys are in, and as soon as you guys step through, just immediately bolts at you guys and bumps into one of your feet. It's like, I thought you guys were super dead. Super dead.
How long were we gone?
What? Hi. No, yeah. How long has it been?
15 hours, 23 minutes, and 17 seconds.
So time dilation wasn't too bad.
Huh.
So is there...
Well, anyway, mission successful. We can get on out of here.
Yay!
Can Modrons be corrupted?
Everything can be corrupted.
Let's not stick around to find out,
yeah.
shall we?
I don't know how mechanical. Well, I guess they're robot.
Oh yeah. Do you have some isolation tanks? We have some specimens we need to keep contained and not leaking
what?
all over the specimens. We have some specimens we need to get in.
I can.
Because research, science.
Like, you can actually hear whatever is making this machine's voice is squeaking. You're not sure if it's with age or just exasperation.
Yeah, no, like Simon just looks kind of like he draws back aghast at the question, why? Like, why would you even ask? And just like one fist in that plague doctor mask shows up and there's a dramatic flash. Because science.
That is a perfect place to end. We will pick up next time.
Does the 80s ending where it like freeze frames on you that, and then we get
Yes.
the yellow
Because
text.
science.
Everywhere you look, everywhere.
Okay.
I love this weird place so fucking much. I have to send you guys there more often.
It was pretty rad.
Yes, please.
I'll go anytime.
I am really excited with how this went. Thank you guys for letting me get all weird and philosophical and throw the weirdest mushrooms I could possibly find at you guys.
That was amazing.
I will send you art because I found actual art inspiration for every single one of those mushrooms.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
I don't know how many of them are real. I'm gonna assume none,
Share them.
but I have no idea.
Share them with
There
everybody in
are-
the Discord.
There
Oh,
are real
going to the
life
Retroverse,
wood eating
so.
mushrooms that like grow in like table shelves, that glow in the dark, like glow green.
Mhm.
So if you ever see pictures of those are probably real.
But yeah, and then so next time I believe will be the journey to the moon, and then the journey to the center of the mind, and then after that everybody will reunite. I'm undecided on yet how I want to do that, if that's going to be another like mega mashup or if I'll sort of like fill it
Probably.
in as we go.
Probably fill in as we go.
Yeah, so real quick before we end, does anybody want to do plugs? I'm gonna go around and we'll start with Simon, or with Jesse.
Hi. Okay. So on Thursdays we are recording sessions for my new Dark Matter campaign, Quest for the Quantum Rose. I'm about to drop the first 2 episodes of that podcast style on YouTube as soon as I get the intro video and can finish stitching it together. So look for that here in the next week or 2. At long last. I know I've been talking about this for a while and it is finally almost ready.
Hooray!
Yay! You can find me on @Bakchan, and everybody else here's got a lot of amazing talents, and like half these people have commissions. You should buy art from them. That's all I got.
Luke, you got anything?
I've been using this pen and it's not great. So don't use these pens if you have a chance.
Good to know.
It's not a good flow. The end.
I wanted to make like a Dune joke, but I couldn't make it happen. Lluis, you got anything?
Too spicy.
So yeah, I play in Jesse's Dark Matter campaign also. I'm an awkward bug thing there.
We love Caxos. Dr. Smites. His nickname is Dr. Smites.
I keep forgetting what their race is called. The
Scathari.
Scathari, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
this is
a Scathari
Scathari
paladin, and he's basically like a Zerg knight in a wall of lasers. He doesn't understand.
Oh, poor bug boy.
Yeah.
He's
And
the best.
also on Wednesdays I play another awkward character that is a Raven inventor. That it's pretty much like Strad's best friend right now. So
Yeah, the Humble Wood Curse of Strahd game.
yeah.
You
So yeah,
guys
that's it.
continue to surprise me every session.
I'm surprised I still playing the same character right now. So yeah.
For me, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna be in Saltmarsh, but I'm gonna let Scott talk about that. I do this. Like, a lot of my time is spent on this game. I love it so much, and I've put so much effort into this world, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm glad you did. If you haven't seen it, go back and check last week's episode. It was the mega crossover. It had everybody, and it was 3 hours of pure joy and chaos. And 1 or 2 hilarious Freudian slips from yours truly. Also, I released a thing on DM's Guild. It's called Crooks and Wands. It is a magic item supplement for any kind of wand and rod and staff that you could need, and it's cool as shit. Go check it out. Scott, what about you?
Oh, right. If you like the show and any of the other shows that are hosted on this Twitch channel, the past VODs are down below. Right after this, if I remember to do it and I don't go to sleep, because it's getting kind of late, I'll be adding our newest campaign, which is another Dark Matter campaign, not to confuse it with Jesse's. That is Mysteries of the Silver Fleet, where I also play as a bug person, but they're a witch. So they're like an outcast of the bug people. But
Ooh, parallels.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also do commissions on Fiverr and such. My Twitter handle's right below my face. And on my profile, it has my flow page, which has all of my links to all my goodies. So you can check me out there. That's my stuff.
So we'll see you guys all next week for the journey to the moon to discover more about the Lunar Kingdom.
I just remembered Sirenscape. We never plugged
Oh shit, Sirenscape! They're super fucking cool. It's sorry.
Your reaction was worth it.
It's 22 every other month. It's super awesome. We have been listening to the Nebula soundtrack, Meditation in Space, this whole time. It's super
love it.
great.
I'm
I love
gonna
it.
use
They
this
just
next time I play.
updated it so that you can lower the volume of the one-off sounds, which is, bless you. The explosions are so fucking loud.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
go check them out. They're awesome.
Alright, good night, everybody.
I
Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Else we done yet?